Cincinnati Reds and the St. Louis Cardinals on Fox Sports Midwest. Dan McLaughlin, Al Raboski, Rick Horton, as the Cincinnati Reds are being introduced in a touching tribute just moments ago for Stan Musial, his family, and the players introduced as well. As you might imagine, it is sold out, a sea of red here in downtown St. Louis. Glad that you're with us. Baseball and our first pitch is coming up, but let's head back down to John Hewlett.
Since the last time we were together in October, Cardinal Nation and the entire country have suffered the loss of loved ones. Today, we would like to observe a moment of silence for those who lost their lives or had loved ones who died during the tragic events on December 14th, 2012 at Sandy Hook Elementary School in Newtown, Connecticut. As well as remembering a baseball great and St. Louis native, Earl Weaver, former Cardinals outfielder Chuck Deering, and longtime stadium organist Ernie Hayes. We also lost longtime Redbird Roost attendant Fanny Scholl, and of course the greatest Cardinal of all time, Hall of Famer Stan Musial. Cardinals fans, please join me in a moment of silence as we remember those we've lost. Presenting today's colors is the United States Transportation Command Joint Service Color Guard. The Joint Service includes personnel from each branch of the military. Presenting the flag in center field are 40 service members from Scott Air Force Base, representing the 375th Air Mobility Wing. We now ask you to please stand, remove your caps for the playing of our national anthem. In a rendition that would make Stan Musial smile, please welcome the Gateway Harmonica Club, of which Stan Musial was a lifetime member. They won't hear me. And the flyover by the B-25 that is still in existence today was courtesy of the Missouri wing of the National Commemorative Air Force.
We will step aside. Ceremonies are through. Let's get to baseball. First pitch, starting lineups, comes your way next. The Reds are 4-2. The Cardinals are 3-3. Before Jaime Garcia throws out his first pitch, back down to John Hewlett, the ceremonial first pitch. But not pitching this season. He was with the Angels last year, but we've added them to our staff, and those two will throw out the ceremonial first pitch.
Yeah, we look forward to hearing from both of them on our pre- and post-game shows on Fox Sports Midwest. Certainly big part of a lot of Cardinal victories over the years.
You can see them all season in the pre- and post-game coverage on Fox Sports Midwest. Please welcome back to the Cardinals family the all-time saves leader for the Cardinals, Jason Isringhausen. And one of the best center fielders in Cardinals history, Jim Edmonds. Catching the first pitches, we have Jason Mott. He's going to catch Jason Isringhausen's first pitch. And also Chris Carpenter catches Jim Edmonds' first pitch. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for coming to the home opener here today. Enjoy the ball game and the entire 2013 season.
Special moments, and those three, in addition to Mott, all of them championship rings. Baseball is next. Midwest is brought to you by Budweiser. Great times are waiting, designated driver. See your Mid-America Chevy dealer or log on to stlchevy.com. Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers, #1 for quality tires and expert auto service. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. And by Steak and Shake. Steak and Shake, just no equal. Glad you're with us. The home opener of this 2013 season. Al, how about the tribute to Stan the Man?
I'm still drying my eyes. You know, Cardinals have a way of doing everything the right way. That is the classiest patch I've ever seen, and that Musial signature, boy, we have so many pieces of his memorabilia, but that one's special too.
Something very stirring about having his children actually unveil that number 6 Al in left center field, and I thought that was a very moving moment, and I think kind of a moving tribute to Chris Carpenter here as well with his injury, and he got a very, very nice round of applause.
Dusty Baker and Mike Matheny, the respective managers of the clubs, exchanging lineups, and very well could be the final time that we see Chris Carpenter for an opening day ceremony as far as being an active player.
And I don't know if you guys noticed, but Carpenter took his hat off when he congratulated and said hello to all the Hall of Famers, which I thought was a classy move, but in some ways symbolic of him taking his hat off maybe for the future. And it was interesting that Lance Lynn came behind him and he did what Carpenter did, which I think is part of the legacy that's going to be ongoing with number 29.
After we were talking with Mike Matheny yesterday about would Carpenter be in uniform, I think this is a very good sign, because I think Mike would love to see him on a more frequent basis be around his teammates. He is on the 60-day disabled list, so he is eligible to be in that dugout and in uniform. Mike also understood it's a very trying time for him, as feels like one of his last years was taken away from him, and he still has it open and hoping that he can pitch at some time, but he can really help out the younger players.
We talked about the emotions for the players as Yadi is ready to take to the field along with his teammates. Al, you said you were part of 9 of these wearing that Cardinals uniform. Rick, you had 5 of them. How about for you, Rick? What about the emotions now getting ready to play this game?
It's always emotional. Opening day is a big deal for players, and they're not going to tell you any different. Darryl Porter, my very first one, stood next to me in line and said, I don't care how many of these that you have, you will find this very, very meaningful. And I get a tear in my eye every time I'm out here, and I've never forgotten Darryl saying that.
Jaime Garcia making the start for St. Louis. Interesting to see him do what he just did right there, walking off those steps as he'll face the Cincinnati Reds on opening day. Shin Soo Choo picked up from Cleveland. He is their leadoff man, and he has been red hot. Chris Heisey filling in for the injured Ryan Ludwig. Joey Votto, Brandon Phillips, and then Jay Bruce. Todd Frazier, he's your third baseman. Zach Cozart, Ryan Hannigan, Matt Latos. Cardinals defensively, brought to you by Dobbs. Matt Holliday had the day off yesterday. He's in there for the opener. Then Jay in center. Beltran is in right. Holliday, by the way, a 6-time All-Star. Good to see David Freese. He has been activated. He'll play third. Cosma, Descalso, and Craig also along the infield. Yadi's behind the plate, and he'll be catching Jaime Garcia. Al?
Well, Jaime Garcia, we know he's already 1-0, but this is where he really pitches and excels, not only against Cincinnati, but also when he pitches at home. So it's really good to see him get off to a good start. He won his first start, and let's see if the left-hander can't build off of that.
David Freese activated. Brief stint with Memphis to have that rehab assignment, and Mike Matheny saying the final step for him was to play the field. He did that, and he was flawless, so in there today.
And Mike Matheny's been trying to get days off for his players, and that's going to get even tougher and tougher for the guys that don't want those days off, because now with Freese back on the team, you had to sit Matt Holliday yesterday. He wants to play every day, and Mike is talking about having to juggle them around a bit and save them some wear and tear as the season goes on.
Cincinnati Reds a year ago really looked at the leadoff spot as a poor position in their lineup, rightfully so, as Drew Stubbs was their leadoff man. He had an on-base percentage of .277, so they felt they had to upgrade that. They bring in Shin Soo Choo, and he's off to a red-hot start. Looks at a strike, and we're underway here at Busch Stadium.
Very high on-base percentage for Choo, but also he's showing power. He's got 3 home runs already.
He's reached base 16 times already. There's a fastball, good tailing movement. No balls and 2 strikes.
Garcia will face 3 left-handed batters in this lineup, and that's going to be a key to him. Chu, Votto, and Bruce, all very dangerous hitters, top hitters, and Garcia with his stuff should dominate left-handers.
Gap in right center field. They shade him a bit into left center and fairly shallow for Shin-Soo Choo. Evens it up at 2-2.
Talk to people around the Reds, they will tell you that with the interleague play and so many games that Cincinnati was playing against Cleveland, they got a good book on this kid, and they say he is an exceptional player.
Just missed on the outside corner from 0-2. The count runs full. Lance Barksdale is calling balls and strikes today.
Little cutter, tries to catch the outside corner, just misses it. I like it when Garcia pounds left-handers in, because I think that's where his movement is at its best.
3-2, a little jam shot popped up into center. Jay going back and makes the catch. Rain has stayed away. Beautiful day for baseball, especially early on, and now the sun is peeking through the clouds. You see that Jay was fighting the sun a bit here, and this is brought to you by Plaza Tire Service.
You see him looking up. What he's actually doing is he has glasses on, but he's looking through the H webbing in his glove. It'll help screen the sun, and he makes that play, but maybe an indication that fly balls are going to be tough today.
Left fielder is Chris Heisey for Cincinnati. They lose Ryan Ludwig on their opener, diving in headfirst to third base. Shoulder surgery. Hope to get him back by some point in the second half of the season, but not by the All-Star break, and that's a big loss.
And it makes the Reds less deep. I think that's really the bottom line. Heisey's a pretty good player coming off the bench, and certainly a good fourth outfielder, but that puts him out there more often and also kind of changes the lineup a bit. You'd like to put Brandon Phillips in the second spot if you're Dusty Baker, but now with Ludwig out, he's got to change it around, especially against a left-handed starter.
Got him. First strikeout for Jaime Garcia here in the home opener.
When he keeps the ball down, and look at that movement, it's sliding away and off the plate. Sometimes you watch a left-hander or any pitcher throw and you see the strain on the arm and particularly elbow. This doesn't look like it's normal, and it's not.
Joey Votto tails in for a strike. Votto was sensational in the first half of last year. He had 35 doubles before the All-Star break, but just 9 afterwards because of a pair of knee surgeries. But we know this guy can flat out hit.
Very, very good player, and a lot of people's choice preseason to be an MVP candidate in the National League, and I think that's a deserving choice.
Here's a 1-1 pitch. Votto looks at strike 2. Cardinals starters over the weekend against San Francisco, 19 innings and only 4 earned runs as that starting staff really came together.
And the nice thing is they're starting to lengthen out, pitch more innings.
What is going through his mind right now? Chris Carpenter. Got him. A strikeout. 2 in the inning for Jaime Garcia. What a way to start the day we honor number 6. pitcher Jaime Garcia. Defensively for the Reds, presented by Dobbs, Heisey, Chu, and Bruce in the outfield. Frazier and Cozart on the left side of the infield. Phillips and Votto on the right side. Brandon Phillips, three-time Gold Glove winner. He was a finalist last year. Ryan Hannigan, very good defensively. He's behind the plate.
Really a very good defensive team throughout the Cincinnati Reds club. Matt Latos gets the start here in game one. Latos had a bad start in April a year ago, but then kind of turned it on and became a 14-game winner for Cincinnati. Kind of a big horse, gets a lot of strikeouts, but if he makes mistakes up in the zone like anybody else, he's hittable.
John Jay reached base 4 times yesterday, scored twice, drove in 2 with a triple. Cardinals had 14 runs. In the air down the left field line, and that's out of play. Fans young and old, opening day. Not sure that young fan will ever remember it, but fans young and old, boy, it's a lot of fun to be here.
That'll remind him.
You bet. John Jay is 8 for 17 in his career against Latos, and that's pulled foul. Matt Latos, for whatever reason, has really struggled against St. Louis. It's his 8th career start against the Cardinals. He has an ERA of 9. 5th appearance here at Busch Stadium, where his ERA is close to 14. He's 1-3 at this ballpark.
He is much better than his record against the Cardinals indicate. Free spirit, came from San Diego. This is his second year with the Reds, and even now they're starting to see a little bit more maturity from him.
Here's a 2-2 to John Jay. Hit down the left field line. Heisey is over and out of room. Talk about maturity. Here's a guy that isn't even 26 yet. He's 25, and they have such a young staff, with the exception of Bronson Arroyo. They've got Mike Leake, Homer Bailey, Latos here, Johnny Cueto. Only Arroyo will be older than 27 during the season.
As Al mentioned, he kind of has a history of being a bit, talking about Latos, a bit of a volatile guy. And the first inning, very important to Garcia and Latos both here on an opening day.
Base hit for Jay. His success continues against this right-hander. He's now 9 for 18.
Important to get the leadoff man on. And pitch just down. He was looking for the ground ball. He got one, but John Jay found a hole. And Matt Latos is probably thinking, here we go again. See, he struggled against St. Louis last year, but pretty good against everybody else.
Cardinals had those 14 runs ball game yesterday and did that without a home run. Beltran lifts it into right center. Shin-Soo Choo is there to make the catch. One away. Talked to Mike Matheny yesterday about keeping Matt Holliday out of the lineup, and Holliday was not too pleased about that, but that's part of Mike's job and what makes it so difficult to tell a Holliday, Beltran, Molina, whomever, you will sit.
You wouldn't be much of a major league player if you were happy with that news anyway, but certainly your star players want to be out there 162 games if possible.
Bench coach is Mike Aldretti. He's got a good look at things right there, and that view that we have from the dugout. Stopwatches are out, seeing how quick Latos is to the plate. 1-0 pitch to Holliday.
He's 6'6", and so usually a tall pitcher is going to be a little slower to the plate. And on that last delivery, he used the slide step to quicken it.
Outfield is deep and a big gap in left center.
Fun crowd here today at the ballpark, and they were here early. I know we all had issues getting here to the ballpark on time because of the traffic, and folks didn't really seem to care too much about it. They know that this is a big party in St. Louis every year, opening day, and everybody kind of looking forward to the festivities, number one. But it's amazing how the fans kept saying, we want to win today as well. I mean, they understand the significance of playing the Cincinnati Reds.
Cincinnati already, they've won 4 of 6 to start their season.
I don't know about you, but just from our view here, looking to the downtown area, I'm getting excited about next year's opening day because Ballpark Village will have phase 1 completed if everything goes according to plan. Good to see some dirt being pushed around over there.
Absolutely.
2-2 the count. A little bigger lead at first this time by Jay. Alan Craig is on deck. And now time is called. One of the most commonly asked questions we got was about what would the Cardinals do for Stan Musial. And a wonderful tribute for Stan in our pregame ceremonies. And we'll have a full night dedicated to Stan this Friday. The 2-2.
We all did a bit of a double take during that ceremony when you had the camera on Red Shane to see the reality of what must be going through his heart and his mind.
One of his best friends.
One of his best friends on this day. And certainly all Cardinal fans everywhere have a heavy heart when you think of Stan Musial, but none more here at the ballpark today, I would say, than Red Shane and his family.
Here's a 3-2. That's in the dirt. 1-out walk to Holiday, so the Cardinals have a chance early on against Matt Latos.
You have to take advantage of every opportunity you get. And right now, Alan Craig's one of the best to have it with a man in scoring position, led all National League. And batting average, 400 average with runners in scoring position. For the last couple of years, he's been right at the top.
Allen with a 5-game hitting streak coming into play today. 4 hits over the weekend. One extended out over the last 2 years with runners in scoring position. He's at 406.
That's tops in the major leagues.
Off speed pitch and a strike. Matt Latos not wearing sleeves, but plenty of tattoos.
It is called a sleeve, is it not?
I have no idea.
How do I know? And you don't. Don't answer that.
To ask A.J. Burnett when I see him next time. Cardinals highest average with runners in scoring position, 446. Look at the average at 238 in the National League.
Those numbers really got magnified over the last 2 games in San Francisco.
Here's the 0-2 pitch inside. Cardinals with that 15-hit attack yesterday, scoring 14 times and winning 14-3 after watching Matt Cain shut them down in those first 3 innings, and then the Cardinals put up a 9 spot.
Showed an awful lot about Cain's perfect game, and after 3 innings we thought we might be seeing another.
1-2 pitch, and it gets away, and the runners advance to second and third. We have seen that a couple of times. It looks like Hannigan has either been crossed up, just not getting a very good look, but he's been battling it a little bit, just trying to catch the baseball.
That's just not very good form right there to try to backhand a curveball like that instead of smothering it. And he tried to pick that ball, and that's just a curveball in the dirt that maybe is breaking a little bit more than he thinks, but you've got to put your body in front of that.
I think it's been the movement that has been the problem for Hannigan, except it's not a cross-up.
It's Craig to wave at it. He strikes out. So the Cardinals need a 2-out base hit. It brings in Yadier Molina. Mentioned it yesterday that Yadi, we thought he might be taken out of the game late. Well, he did go from behind the plate to first base. He's played all the innings for the St. Louis Cardinals. We thought at the time maybe it was just to jumpstart him offensively, and sure enough, he did pick up a base hit.
Including the 16-inning game in Arizona, he caught all 16 innings.
Runners at second and third. Yadi is batting .240. 1 home run, and he's driven in 3. Shading Molina a bit to the opposite field.
These right-handed hitters must be pitching them away. I don't remember the pitch that struck out Alan Craig, but pitching away because they've got their defense played that way.
Oh, and 2. The Reds, by the way, coming into play in their 6 games. Their staff had struck out 62. That's most by a National League team in its first 6 games since 1921. And Dusty Baker knows that last year, in many ways, his team defined by their pitching, the health of that staff, and they're counting on that again. 0-2, it's spoiled by Molina. 94 on the gun from Matt Latos.
They played 2 pretty good teams. They had the Angels and then the Nationals.
Opened up with a interleague series, first time in baseball history that's been done for an opener. Interleague play every night throughout the next 6 months. Here's a 1-2 pitch. Way outside, and again, almost to the backstop.
Alec made a good point. They're really working all Cardinal hitters away right here. Every once in a while, you got to throw one inside as well. And Latos does have a plus fastball, but I think the idea here is to try to neutralize the power a bit by these Cardinal hitters. Pitch them away, play them away, and hope for the best. Yadi, of course, uses the right side of the field very well and always has.
The 2-2 stays away.
There's the pitch that struck out Alan Craig, and Yadi wouldn't offer at it. Run the count full. Nice today's baseball with first base open. You're always going to, a 3-2 pitch like this, you're always going to see the off-speed pitch. See that breaking ball again. Inside.
There's a drive out to center field. And it is dropped. 2 runs will score. Molina winds up at second base. Jin-Soo Choo had it once, thought he had it twice, and instead 2 runs come in to score.
I'm sure they'll score it as a double, but that ball should have been caught. And center fielder Choo would be the first one to say it. Either way, the Cardinals get a lead.
Absolutely right. Not only should have been caught, but it looks like it was caught. Not just once, but twice. And then he still doesn't come up with it. Slams up against the wall. And here's another good look at the replay. It's in his webbing. He went a long way to get it, but you'll again say he needs to catch that baseball.
Come on, Edmonds, catch it.
Jimmy would have.
Still no ruling, and 2 runs have scored, and here is David Freese.
Well, Jim wasn't playing center field for Cincinnati. He did at one time.
Then you have to include Jason LaRue, because Edmonds took about every hit away from LaRue over the years. Good to see David in this lineup. Here's a 1-0 pitch to Freese. Brandon Phillips is there, and he makes the play. Cardinals strike first in the bottom of the first. Shin-Soo Choo thought he had it not once but twice. 2-0 St. Louis. What a great deal on Cardinals tickets. Fill up at Phillips 66 with 8 gallons or more. Now until June 30th. Receive up to 50% on a pair of tickets to a Cardinals home game. For more information, visit cardinals.com/Phillips66.
It's a cool view.
There's Brandon Phillips.
I didn't know we had a Clydesdale cam.
One time Gussie he had the reins at the old ballpark and almost tipped it.
I remember that day. They had to replace the pitching rubber.
And who was going to say
anything
to the boss?
Yeah. Outfield straight away for Phillips. Looks at strike 2. This has really turned out to be one of the better rivalries in baseball now. St. Louis and Cincinnati. You had Dusty and Tony, and a few years ago Bronson Arroyo. Remember the pine tar? We were dealing with that, and then the lack of scuffed up or rubbed up baseballs. A check swing and did not go, and then coup de grace, so to speak, was Phillips and Molina a couple years ago at Cincinnati.
Don't forget Walt Jocketty. That's part of the scenario too.
Cueto and Jason LaRue is maybe the ugliest part of that rivalry. And, you know, boys will be boys, but when it starts affecting somebody's career, that's a different story.
Swing and a miss, and Garcia sharp early on. 4 up, 4 down, and he has struck out 3 of the first 4 he has seen.
He's always pitched very well here at home. He's set up inside. Look at that little cutter. When Jaime keeps the ball down, he just has unbelievable movement. he may be one of these left-handers that actually has more success against the right-handed batters. That's why they didn't really worry about all the left-handed batters in this lineup, but most of their guys play every day either way.
And I certainly don't want to be a Brandon Phillips publicist. I have not been over the years, but he had a nice tweet congratulating the Cardinals on opening day with a big wow with a couple exclamation points, and he said what an amazing tribute to the legend Stan the Man Musial.
Here's Cosma casually going out to make the catch, and out number 2. Have you guys put your finger on it yet as to why Jaime has been in his career so good here at Busch Stadium? Tough to say, isn't it?
You know, you've heard all the stories about has troubles with things that are not routine. You know, so there was the talk about, you know, on the road, if his room service meal didn't come at 32 minutes like they said, or just the difference that he gets out of his routine, that it affects him. But I want to give him more credit than that, and I think whatever it is, I think he's beating it.
Certainly a good start this year on the road, but it is interesting that the Cardinals have taken the approach that we're not going to really talk about too many intricacies and overcoach Jaime Garcia. We don't want him to overthink anymore and just kind of let him pitch. And even to the point where they're asking him to be very limited in what he says publicly to us or to the rest of the media world, and so we're not really going to get to hear from Garcia too much this year. I can promise you that. He's kind of become very, very quiet, and some will take that personally, but I think the Cardinals and Mike Matheny believe that will help him perform at its best. We'll wait and see.
Sometimes he overanalyzes things to such a degree that
on the inside corner, and a strikeout of Todd Frazier. He has struck out 4 of the first 6 he has seen. First Bank First Take, what has taken place here in the first week or so. Cardinals are 3-3. You see the batting averages even, runs per game as well with Cincinnati. The home runs, big difference. ERAs are very similar as well.
So far, the Cardinals' production, though, Al, has been kind of limited to just a couple of innings, and that's one of the things from a year ago that we wanted to see with this offense is a little bit more, I guess, standard kind of offense where you're going to get 5 or 6 runs a game.
Mike Matheny really worked hard in spring training trying to play little ball, do little things to give you more scoring opportunities so you aren't as reliant on the home run. And remember they also, lost a 1-0 game on an unearned run, and the 16-inning game, flat out, you should have won that one.
1-0 pitch to Daniel Descalso. 2-0. The Cardinals scored 2 in the bottom of the first. There's an error charged to the Red center fielder, so no RBIs for Molina as 2 runs came around to score. Scalzo did not play the final game in San Francisco, his hometown. It went to Matt Carpenter. A little tardy with that swing, 2-2, but you look at second base with those 2 guys, and you get the feeling we're going to see a lot of production offensively.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And I think with Carpenter especially, he has such a big upside, and he's going to be hard to sit. Of course, so will Matt Adams.
As Daniel strikes out, and the second for Matt Latos. Yeah, Matt Adams with 6 base hits already in this young season in his 2 starts.
6 for 10, both of them 3 for 5.
Matt Carpenter, in my mind, and I'm not saying this year, but I think he's got a chance of being a top 5 hitter in the National League. I think he's got an upside of being a 320 hitter. Now, I'm not saying every year, but I just think he's got that kind of plate coverage and that kind of understanding and work ethic and all the things you want. I just think he's going to get better and better.
There's Pete Kozma, said understanding, and really you think about the understanding of the strike zone and how pitchers are trying to go after Matt Carpenter and laying off those borderline pitches. We saw that twice yesterday.
Nothing worse from the pitcher's point of view than facing somebody that has patience. I want those impatient guys who'll swing at everything and you can expand the zone on.
That's it. The key to pitching is to get ahead in the count and then expand the zone and get a hitter to get himself out.
Tough pitch. 1-2.
Slider, cutter, whatever you want to call it. But this time it seemed like there's a little more bite to it, a little tighter, and a much tougher pitch to hit.
Matt Latos last year among the National League leaders in starts. He was tied for first, second in winning percentage. Opponents only hit .230 against him. That was 5th best in the league. Fly ball, left center. Who wants it? It is Heisey, it looks like, that makes the catch. It is. Left fielder makes the play for the second out.
Chu's already had a mishap at center, and he almost causes another error here. A little lack of communication. Pretty noisy ballpark here this afternoon, but it didn't seem like either one of them were really that aware of each other, and that often results in a 2-base error.
Chu is from Busan, South Korea, and he speaks fluent English. So it's not a question of language right there. Just looked like neither one of them caught. Usually you want your center fielder to take charge.
Ball 1 to Jaime Garcia. Matt Latos came over from San Diego for Yonder Alonso. Brad Boxberger, a right-handed pitcher. Yasmani Grandal, at that time one of the top catchers in the system for Cincinnati. And Edinson Volquez, a deal that thus far has worked out for Cincinnati. Some issues with those players that were sent over to San Diego. And they also got him, in baseball terms, as a guy that is not making a ton of money either. Arbitration eligible for the first time. And they feel they'll have him in the fold for a long time with the Cincinnati Reds. The 2-2. Garcia puts it in play. A chopper to Phillips. And the Cardinals go 1-2-3. Jaime Garcia back to work. He'll face 7, 8, and 9 in the order for the Cincinnati Reds. 2-0 St. Louis. Cardinals baseball on Fox Sports Midwest is brought to you by Schnucks, your neighborhood hometown grocer. And come to Jack in the Box today. Try the new Hot Mess Burger, loaded with spicy jalapenos, onion rings, gooey pepper jack cheese. Home opener of this 2013 season. Check out the back of a baseball card. Numbers don't lie, do they?
And I think he's trying to work for this. I think he had a freeze. I think I heard him say freeze. He's looking for a trade.
West, my 5-year-old grandson, got his first pack of bubblegum cards. Went through them. There was no Papa in there, so he said they're bad.
Can't argue with him.
Here's Zach Cozart, who's hitting 125. Pair of home runs, 5 RBIs, coming off a very fine season a year ago. He had 30 doubles, 15 home runs, so you're talking about a shortstop that can produce. Slowly hit to second. Descalso is there for the out. Toyota keys to the game. It involves our pitcher today, Jaime Garcia.
Holman Road versus the Reds, 6-0 at home. So this is a very comfortable place for Garcia against the Central Division foes. On the road, that's a tough ballpark to pitch in. Most everybody's ERA would be higher, Al, in Great American Ballpark. And the Reds starters, there's a few of them that have trouble at home. Think of Homer Bailey doesn't like pitching there.
Those splits right there are consistent with Jaime Garcia with every team. You know, he's got an ERA under 250 at home throughout his career.
8-2 in the month of April here at Busch Stadium in his career, so the numbers continue to tell you that he loves pitching here at Busch Stadium.
So battling some of the numbers and some of the history, but Garcia a year ago was also battling shoulder issues, and I think that's a really good part of the story of Garcia so far, as he seemed to get through spring training without that not even came up, didn't even come up in conversation. So it seems like he's got that in his rearview mirror.
That's tapped foul. We saw in the first 8 through this lineup a lot of swings and misses as well. So that's giving you an indication of the movement that we're seeing from Garcia.
No doubt. And when he does keep the ball down, he has just terrific movement. Got pitches that go in, pitches go away.
Throughout the course of the year, we'll see batters that have that off-balance swing, and usually that's the sign that it is a changeup. If somebody just doesn't see it well, they're fooled by it. But there are times where people have that changeup swing against Garcia's sinker. It's a fastball, but the movement fools him so much, it puts him off balance.
He throws that changeup to a right-hand batter and almost appears and acts like a screwball.
The 2-2 pitch upcoming to Ryan Hannigan. Grounder hit to short. Cosma is there. 2 away. MLB.com at Bat is the #1 source for live baseball everywhere you go. Available for iPhone, iPad, Android, BlackBerry 10. At Bat delivers Cardinals baseball with live audio, pitch tracking, stats, news, highlights, and more. Text at Bat to 31826 or visit Cardinals.com for details. Matt Latos with 2 outs, nobody on. The Reds pitching staff a year ago, 53 hits collectively, and that was the most in the National League by a pitching staff.
About the fact that they really only used 5 starters. Nobody got hurt. Nobody had to come out of that rotation. They did the first time they used a 6th one. It was because of a doubleheader.
Also, the pitching staff, tons of innings as well. Only Mike Leake failed to get to 200 innings. The other 4 got to 200 or more.
There was an aborted idea to throw Aroldis Chapman into that mix in spring training. At one point, he had the idea as Garcia walks the pitcher after retiring 8 straight. At one point, Chapman was going to be one of those top 5 starters, and then they decided midway through spring training, as the Cardinals did with Trevor Rosenthal, that they were better off keeping him in the bullpen where they were successful.
And with all the innings by their starters, that means that bullpen is going to have a chance to be highly effective, because they don't have to account for all the innings. If you're only trying to get 6 outs average in a night, you're going to have a good bullpen.
Guys, we're already talking about the first week of the season in the NL Central. Carlos Marmol has been removed as the closer of the Cubs. John Axford has given up 3 home runs in 3 appearances. He is going to be removed, apparently, out of that spot for Milwaukee, as Chu is 0 for 2. Midway through the 3rd, and then we head to the 4th. It's all St. Louis. Your favorite Chris Carpenter moment, the Cy Young of 05, Game 3 shutout, 2006 World Series, his shutout in Game 5 of 2011, or Game 7 making that start. AT&T Twitter poll, great question, and thinking about the moments in the career of Chris Carpenter. And here's what you spoke of, Ricky, earlier. Carpenter takes off his cap when greeting the Cardinal Hall of Famers.
Great sign of respect, but also, again, some irony in that Carpenter's hat will be soon removed for good, unfortunately for him. But then Lance Lynn, after that, did the same thing with the Hall of Famers, which, again, is a sign of his influence.
But how about that? He put it back on to shake his manager's hand.
He's telling him something there, Al?
I don't know.
Top of the lineup, and John Jay for St. Louis, leading 2-0 here in opening day in the Gateway City. The home opener. Back in 2011, Carpenter worked more than 273 innings. Won 4 postseason games. That's hit out to right. That'll stay in the ballpark. We just saw the Hall of Famers. They are here in attendance, and so is Jim Hayes. Hello, Jim.
Dan, this may be the best seat in the house. We got Whitey behind me, Lou and Red. So, Lou, I want to ask you, you guys look very dapper year in and year out in the red blazers. What is the home opener like for you, just being part of it?
It's like a holiday. In fact, St. Louis opening day is like it's not like any other town. It's just not a ball game. It's one of those special events that all Cardinal Nation come out to watch.
Red, you have seen your share What sets the home opener in St. Louis apart from other places?
Well, there's such great fans here for one thing, and the home opener is always outstanding. You know, I'm on the field a lot with the ball club, and still being part of it. To me, opening day is the most exciting day around. It's just like a big holiday.
What's it like for you when you see the rookies, the youngsters that weren't sure what to expect on opening day?
Well, I think the fact is that we walk on red carpet out on the field, and some of the guys who got traded to the Cardinals this year, when they passed me, I said, "You ever walked on red carpet before?" They said, "No, this is unusual and different."
Well, guys, it's a treat seeing you. Whitey, good seeing you. Dan, we'll send it back to you guys in the booth.
Best seat in the house, no doubt, right there with Jim Hayes as Beltran lines out to right, brings in Matt Holliday. And, you know, guys, what's amazing to me, Red is 90 years old, and you watch him hop off the truck or off, you know, the convertibles. It's just amazing, and he still dresses out. He's a guy that is hitting ground balls and talking to Mike Matheny, and he is sharp. 90 years old, and Red just celebrated that 90th birthday about a month and a half ago.
Red always says the key to longevity is hanging around younger people. Boy, he loves to be around the young ball players. February 3rd is Red's birthday.
See some of the footage of Stan the Man, and much of that footage you see Red Shades right next to him, and those two were roommates, best of friends during their playing days and certainly afterwards. I'm sure a lot of emotions today for Red watching that tribute to the great Stan the Man. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Matt Holliday.
What you love about Red Shades, two guys that you both would agree with this, having been around him. I mean, he's such a positive individual. I mean, he always has something good to say about what it means to be a Cardinal, about particular players, and if you try to get him to say anything negative about anybody, and even as a manager, he'd say, "I'm not going to worry about the players; they'll eliminate themselves." He doesn't have to kind of overjudge them. He's just very, very supportive of this game, this town, and this sport.
You know, I played for Red, and as I got older, I really learned to appreciate even more how great a manager he was. But Ricky touched on it. You know, he didn't worry about what the players did on and off the field. They were doing the job, they were going to stay. They weren't doing the job, they were going to be gone. That's the difference when you have one-year contracts.
Now, the amazing thing, too, is that Rick and I went out to dinner with Whitey in spring training, and the way that he recalls stories, and he got into a situation in which he was talking about Mike Matheny's contract when he was playing. It's just amazing how sharp he is and still watching the game day in and day out. That was fun.
Played for Whitey in Kansas City, and he taught us a lot more than just baseball, too. Good life lessons.
And those guys represent Cardinal Nation, the Cardinal franchise, every day, every place they go. Now, they're doing it here today with the Red Jackets, but, you know, your Hall of Famers are critical people in an organization, and we're very lucky to have men that not only were great players, but they're very good ambassadors for their franchise and for the sport in general.
A couple years ago, Whitey was in the booth with us, and in 2011, the Cardinals at that point were struggling before they went on their run, and he said, well, they're going to make a run because they have Hall of Famers on this team. He said Holliday, Molina, LaRusso, Pujols, and the list went on and on. And he said if Carpenter would stay healthy, he'd be in the conversation. I mean, he was talking in terms of this team is going to make a run, and it's quite a statement to say what he said because of the talent that they had on the team back in 2011. And then there's Ed Curtis, who pops in.
How and why, we don't know.
The 2-2. Ouch. Holliday did that 2 days ago in San Francisco, and that's why you see that shin guard on the left leg.
I know there's 2 outs and 2 strikes, but playing for Whitey one time, George Brett, myself, Clint Hurdle, Joe Zebb, we got in a little accident at the golf course. You think you're invisible. Before we got to the clubhouse, Whitey knew everything what happened. And he said that And Clint Hurdle had called in and said he was in an automobile accident. So Whitey said, look, I know about your accident. I know about what happened at the golf course. But let me ask you this right now. Did Clint Hurdle get hurt? And we said no. And he goes, I got to find out. It was his rookie year. He goes, I got to find out if he'll lie to me, because he just called and said he's been in an automobile accident. And he was in a small fender bender, and he was going to be late. He was going to be late to practice, and he got there and he was fine. So Whitey knew that he told him the truth. And Whitey says, you know, every time before I get ready to fine somebody or issue penalty to you, I think about what I did in my career. So he goes, Billy Hunter and I, we drove down a hill too fast. We ended up in a lake with a golf cart. So I guess what you guys did wasn't too bad. Now get out of here.
That was Whitey, huh?
That was Whitey.
And he can remember the details of that story. And as you mentioned, Dan, the details that these guys remember, because, again, every place they go, they're asked to tell those stories and to talk about people that they played with. And Whitey loves to talk about, you know, Roger Maris and Casey Stengel and just icons in this game. And they are, all those guys in the red jackets are a treasure.
High fly ball out to left. Heisey is back. He leaps. He had room, and he makes the catch. Stan in red. Image of greatness. Here at Busch Stadium, the home opener of this 2013 season. This replay brought to you by Hyundai. This would account for 2 runs, a couple of cracks at it. Chu couldn't corral it. And that was off the bat of Yadier Molina. He was charged with an error. 2 runs came around to score, and that's all the scoring today. And then just moments ago, Chris Heisey at the track, and part of a 12-pitch at bat as Holiday flied out to deep left. Those replays presented by Hyundai. So here's Heisey now. That tailing pitch into right center field. And the first base hit. And Heisey is thinking too. Throw by Jay into second is not in time. Leadoff double for Chris Heisey.
Left-handed throwing center fielder, and that's an easy throw for him. It was right on the money, but he sees the outfield throw is going to come to the outfield side, so he goes in the infield, and not exactly the most picturesque slide. And your face, side of your face ends up on the ground, and not the way they teach it.
No.
Joey Votto. And there's a strike, and I'm sure fans of the Cincinnati Reds think about Ryan Ludwig, his head first slide. and he said that the dirt was kind of wet. It was early in the game, so still, I don't want to say muddy, but when he slid, it caught, and his shoulder pulled a little bit, and then the injury. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Be interesting to see if the Reds start trying to hit the ball the other way. That's what Heisey did to lead off this 4th inning after going through the lineup 1 time against Garcia. Just noticing how well his sinker is away from right-handers.
Votto hit .370 with runners in scoring position last year. It looks at a pitch inside.
So that good tailing action, the movement on his delivery. Votto works extremely hard, commands the respect of his teammates, and they say the second hardest worker on the team now is Chu.
Well, clearly trying to go inside here on Votto.
Again, I like that. I think a left-hander you can tie up on a ball that's in on his hands, and with Garcia, he has more movement on that side of the plate than he does away to left-handers. And I think early in his career, lefties barely hit him at all, and I think it's because he pounded that sinker down and in.
3-1 pitch. Taken for a ball, and that gets away from Molina. Heisey advances to third. Runners at the corners, and nobody out. Tomorrow night, busy sports night for the local teams. Cardinals baseball, St. Louis Blues hockey. The Cardinals will continue their series of the Reds. Blues are in action against the Wild. Fox Sports Midwest and Fox Sports Midwest Plus will have the game, so head to our website and find the channel for your area.
The Blues had a great game yesterday in Detroit, huh? 1-0.
1-0 win, and what a great time of year. You've got the national championship in college basketball tonight. There's a ground ball, play at the plate. Molina puts the tag on and holds on for the out. Molina was off the plate, and Heisey went right after Yachty, didn't he, fellas?
And you kind of wonder whether if he'd have gone to the plate, if he had a chance of scoring. Yeah, he actually was thinking Yachty instead of going to the outside part of the plate. He goes up the line. The plate is about a foot to the right, and if he would have slid the other way instead of right at Yachty, he'd have been safe.
He would have been safe.
Runners at first and second. And Jay Bruce at the plate. Popped out to short first time up. Takes a ball low and away.
There was a time in baseball where you'd never give up the chance to get a double play, but I like that better. I like cutting that run down and then maybe hope for the double play to follow, because a double play is not a sure thing anyway, especially with somebody like Brandon Phillips running.
1-0 pitch to Bruce. Lines it down the right field line, but yanked foul. Cardinals won the season series against the Reds last year, 8-7. Neither team will have to at least deal with Houston as far as them being in the division, where both picked up a lot of wins last year. Houston now in the American League West.
I've been thinking a little bit about that, Dan, with clubs that would get easy wins against, say, Houston, Cubs, Pittsburgh. The wild card was always coming out of this.
Sure.
It may not happen anymore.
Had a number of balls in the dirt so far in this game, and Yadier Molina goes down and smothers this one. Garcia's changeup, it looks like maybe he's just pulling it down a bit too much. We've seen a couple of those now bounce on Molina, but that was the play that Hannigan just tried to pick with his glove and ended up as a wild pitch.
A 2-1 pitch to Jay Bruce. Ground ball right side, base hit. Waving in the runner, and the throw will come back into the infield to Cosma. And Phillips is safe at second. Run scores. That's Votto. And the Reds get on the board. It's now 2-1. Jay Bruce with his 5th ribby of this young season. So walk and a pair of hits in this inning.
You know it's early, but somewhere in the back of your mind you got remember about in Arizona how he was pitching so well, got 2 outs in the 5th inning and then walked the bases loaded. So let's hope that isn't just an indication now that he can't stop the bleeding.
No Scott Rowland this year for the Reds, so Todd Frazier is one of the top rookies a year ago in the league. Is the everyday third baseman off to a great start. Struck out his first time. He's hitting .462 this first week with 3 home runs and 9 RBIs. There's talk that Rowland may sign with the Yankees or even the Dodgers, teams that need some depth in their infield, and that's not the case. He has turned down any of those offers.
Well, the Reds waited very late going into spring training, still waiting to see a word on Scott Rowland, but they told him, you know, hey, it's Todd Frazier's time.
1 ball and 2 strikes.
And it's the way an organization continues to be competitive year after year. You have to have an infusion of good young talent. You mentioned Cozart earlier, but also Frazier. You've got a good team, but you've got good young players into the mix. The Cardinals this year are hoping for the same out of guys like Pete Kozma and Matt Adams.
Garcia would love the double play here. The 1-2 pitch just missed. Frazier's a interesting story. A first-round pick in 2007 for the Cincinnati Reds, as that just missed up and away. And he was originally signed as a shortstop. Big kid, 6'3", 215 pounds, and they've even talked about, because of his athleticism, potentially even playing the outfield in the future, as Garcia pulls the string and picks up the strikeout.
Great arm action, isn't it?
Zach Cozart with 2 runners on. 2 down. He grounded out to second base first time up. And he looks at strike 1.
Friday's 15-0 win over the Washington Nationals. Cozart hit 2 homers and 5 RBIs. They were both career highs for a single game.
And not much outside of that game. He's hitting just 120. Saw that Jim Edmonds was throwing out the ceremonial first pitch, along with the Cardinals' all-time saves leader, Jason Isringhausen, the Brighton, Illinois native, who is going to be joining us on Fox Sports Midwest.
I noticed that Jim Edmonds threw a strike and Izzy didn't. Anybody else notice that?
Very high. But at least it was up and in.
Setting up the curveball is what he was doing.
He used to say he would intentionally walk non-intentional walks, but he would walk people so he could get to the right matchup. So maybe that's what he was doing.
Over 300 saves in his career.
I'm glad they said that, and I'm glad you just repeated it. But he is the Cardinals' all-time saves leader.
Here's a 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. Back-to-back Ks for Garcia to end the top of the 4th, and he has 6 strikeouts on this home opener. He slides to the plate. It's probably safe. He went after Yachty. It's 2-1. Night, the Cardinals will pay tribute, celebrate Stan the Man's life and legacy. All fans 16 and older receive a playable Stan Musial harmonica. The giveaway is the first of its kind and one of your only opportunities to collect that very unique giveaway, and that's the harmonica on Friday night. And really, this weekend is loaded with giveaways. So many of our fans, probably about 60-65%, maybe up to 70-75%, come from outside the metro area on those weekend dates, and we've got the giveaways for you. The Stan the Man harmonica. Then the Cardinals will see history on Saturday. They'll wear the alternate uniform, and you can take home that jersey. And then on Sunday, the Rawlings Gold and Platinum Glove giveaway, and Yachty will be honored before the game. So all those promotional items, make sure you're here this weekend, and Milwaukee will be in town. Here's Alan Craig, who struck out his first time up. Hits it slowly down third, and foul. Looking at the rotation, by the way, for the Brewers, I think Kyle Loesch in their rotation will miss the St. Louis Cardinals.
We'll see him eventually.
Big gap in left center. As Shin-Soo Choo is deep and playing Craig to right center.
Really play their outfield for Matos to make a lot of pitches on the outer half. That slider mostly.
Craig drives it into left center field. That ball will get down all the way to the wall, and Alan Craig on his way to second base. Leadoff double here in the home half of the fourth for St. Louis.
There's a great example of you're playing your defense one way and a pitcher not executing. We had some issues in Arizona with some plays in the outfield where they played the outfield one way. Pitcher did not make the contact, or did not throw in the location that would pitch to the defense. Now see, they want everybody to, or expected him to hit to right field, so they had their center fielder way over.
Catcher setting up away, pitches in.
And that's why he has such a long run and can't even keep him to just a single.
One of the key plays in this ball game, off the bat of Molina, and a fly ball in the center that was dropped. Led to 2-run scoring. I don't know if you guys would be shocked if they would change that from an error to a base hit. Award Molina a couple of RBIs.
And let's say it this, that was the right call. For Molina's sake, I'd like to see it change, but it was an error.
1-0 pitch to Yachty. Molina up the middle, base hit. Here comes Craig. He will score. And Yachty gives the Cardinals back their 2-run lead as it's 3-1 in this home opener.
Yachty in a way just trying to hit the ball to that right side, but he gets a little bit more than that as he gets it up the middle past the umpire and the pitcher into center field. Molina is 4th RBI of the season, and plenty more of those to come down the road. Alan Craig getting the Redbirds started here in the 4th inning. This should be a good lineup, Al. You look at it from top to bottom, there will be runs produced by this Cardinal team this year.
Well, we think so, and what we're hopeful is, as Mike Matheny and his staff was concerned, at the times where we score in almost double figures, and then you have those droughts where you get shut out or you barely score a run or two.
Freeze lines it to short, and Yachty back to the bag at first. That's twice now. Freeze has hit the ball hard, nothing to show for it. He's 0 for 2, and it brings in Daniel Descalso.
I like about the offense is you do have a much stronger bench, even though some of the guys are the same individuals, but they're more accomplished right now that on that bench. There's a little more firepower.
Shane Robinson would be a classic example of that.
And I think even Matt Adams, you know,
Yeah.
based on what we saw last year, but because of the floating chips in his elbow, I don't think he was quite healthy. Much better this year.
Descalso struck out swinging. 2 strikeouts for Latos here this afternoon. There's a look at Shane Robinson.
And I mentioned Robinson not so much for power reasons, guys, but he was the best Cardinal hitter in spring training.
And he did have 3 home runs in spring training.
.1-0 is hit too short. Steps on the bag. That's Cozart, and they get Descalso by a step. A double play ends the 4th, but RBI single by Molina. Back to a 2-run lead.
Lewis excited about the Cardinals, but of course we're also excited about the Blues. The next telecast tomorrow, 6:30. Blues will take on the Predators, and it begins with Toyota Blues Live. And following that particular game, here's a look at the upcoming schedule for the Blues. Thursday and Friday games on Fox Sports Midwest. And then Chicago, Vancouver, Phoenix, and Dallas as the Blues battle for the playoffs. A lot of exciting hockey going on, and now baseball back to St. Louis. Chris Carpenter, a big hockey fan, actually has played some hockey in his background, and maybe that's where he gets his competitiveness from.
Here's Hannigan, a high chopper, Freeze reaches up and makes the play. Another St. Louis Blues fan right there, and David Freeze.
Another nice play by David Freeze. Goes back on this ball, catches it, takes his time.
Pitcher Matt Latos. Jaime Garcia, if you're just joining us, went through the first 8 like it was nothing, and then he walked the pitcher Matt Latos, and that was the first base runner Cincinnati had in this ball game. Popped up to the right side, shallow. Beltran makes the catch, calls off Descalso, and there's 2 away.
I want to go back to that play by David Freeze, guys. We saw David towards the end of spring training as he was trying to come back from having bruised his back on a play down the left field line where he kind of ran into a railing, and he was getting ready to play, and he just seemed a little stiff. But today he seems to be moving a lot smoother, and he had some games down in AAA Memphis where he could kind of get some at bats, and I think at least so far he looks like he is all the way back.
And I'll tell you, sometimes on a play like that ground ball where you reach up is where those muscles tense up and grab you once again.
No doubt.
Doesn't seem like that's an issue at all.
Has him out in front, and a ground ball hit to the right side, and Chu is over 3, and that's a key for this Cincinnati offense, keeping him off the bases. He looks sharp. It's 3-1. Roll 12, and you'll guarantee you receive a Musial harmonica. And remember, it's a Budweiser Bash Friday live music. Trevor Rosenthal will be signing autographs for the first 200 people in the Budweiser Bash line. And just get your tickets right now at cardinals.com/promotions.
Danny?
Yes, sir.
Pacific Coast League must be a tough league. Walker gave up a couple runs.
Yeah, I saw that. He's human. We're talking about Michael Walker, who made his AAA debut yesterday.
Wasn't his best outing. I saw John Vooch a minute ago, but I told him you want to see him give up some runs just to see how he reacts.
Here's Pete Kozma. He'll lead it off, the 8th place hitter. Cardinals spring training actually put Michael Walker in situations that would be, let's just say, probably not conducive to shutting out the opponent.
Challenging.
1st and 3rd, nobody out. Gets out of a jam. As Kozma pops it up. Votto with room, and he makes the play. And Pete is 0 for 2. You can see why the Cincinnati Reds are one of the teams favored to win the Central, along with St. Louis. Mentioned their starting pitching, but their bullpen led the majors in bullpen ERA, saves, opponents' average a year ago, and they have one of the best in the back end of their games in Aroldis Chapman.
And he's got some help out there too. Sean Marshall, very good also from the left side. Jonathan Broxton has been a closer before, so a lot of weapons for Dusty Baker. By the way, Dusty, a 3-time manager of the year. Only one manager in baseball with more wins than him, and that's Jim Leyland. In terms of active managers.
Well, they actually signed Broxton to be the closer because the idea was that Chapman was going to be in the rotation. So now, as you said, they can reduce the game basically to 6 innings. Well, it's important that you always get a lead and let your bullpen win the ball game instead of trying to shorten it like they do.
1-2 is hit out of play.
We've seen some positive things out of the Cardinals bullpen. The left-handers have both pitched well so far, and Trevor Rosenthal doesn't really disappoint ever. He's just been kind of lights out with his 100-mile-an-hour fastball. And Mitchell Boggs, after blowing his first save opportunity, came back and got back on track. So the Cardinals bullpen has been decent.
1-2. Garcia strikeout. And Latos has struck out 3 on the afternoon. What's on tap is presented by Budweiser. There's a look at Bronson Arroyo. Will come your way at 6:30. He was 8-13 a year ago. And remember that the Blues are also playing, so check FoxSportsMidwest.com for the channel showing the Blues and the Cardinals. Arroyo has been an innings eater. As you get a look at Rafael Furcal, who is out with Tommy John. No National League starter has thrown more innings since 2006 than Bronson Arroyo. And for the Reds, you know, you think about winning this division 2 of the past 3 years, but yet they can't get over the hump of winning a playoff game. They haven't won a playoff game since 1995.
Playoff series. Yeah. They remember they were up 2-0.
That's right, on the
2
Giants.
up on the Giants, and then it returned to Cincinnati. So they lost 3 straight in Cincinnati, and I guess we don't want to talk about what happens when you're up 3-1.
I was going to say that sounded a little bit too close to home when you were going down that road.
'97 wins for Dusty Baker's club a year ago. 97 and 65. The 2-2. Jay takes it low. Jay has singled and scored and also flied out to deep right. Off speed pitch, had him out in front. And a strikeout, 2 in the inning for Matt Latos. There's the man that pulled off the deal to get Latos to Cincinnati. Former Cards GM Walt Jocketty, now with the Cincinnati Reds. Here at Busch Stadium. The Charter high-speed pitch as Jaime Garcia's hit 91. Latos at 94. High-speed pitches from Charter Communications. Time is called, and it's 2, 3, and 4 in this lineup for Cincinnati. Heisey has struck out also a double and looks at a fastball and a strike. And boy, Jaime has been so good today. For those of you just joining us, he has walked 2. The Reds have just 2 hits and he has struck out 6.
And of all Cardinal pitchers, I would say Jaime Garcia is the guy you're least concerned about pitch velocity. And for him, it's all about command and movement. And the velocity really doesn't change too much for him. He's going to be right around 90 miles an hour, 88 to 91. And in some ways, he's better at 88, 89 than he is at 91. The key for him is just good quality pitches down in the zone with movement just like that.
And held on to by Molina. So strikeout number 7.
Sounds so simple, but when he does keep the ball down, it has terrific movement. I think it's real key to kind of watch him this inning. As see right there, foul tip right into the glove. Last time out, 5 2/3 again, and then he walked 3 straight. Mojica bailed him out, so
Garcia only gave up 2 hits in that game.
Right, and he didn't have a walk before that. Those 3.
Really, one of the biggest strikeouts of the early season was Mojica coming in to face Jason Kubel with the bases loaded and got out of the jam. This is Joey Votto. And that is strike 2. One of the best in baseball. This is brought to you by Firestone Extra Mile Index. Joey Votto, 320, the highest average, just behind Miguel Cabrera, won the Triple Crown last year. He was at 334.
If you're hit for that high average, you're not afraid to hit with 2 strikes or behind the count.
Last year in Cincinnati, Votto told me he used to carry a book that was written by Ted Williams, The Art of Hitting. I'm sure some of our fans have heard about it or read it. Got the call. May have been a little low. No argument from Votto. Strikeout number 8.
And all those areas and your hot spots and your batting average and where your cold spots are.
And even Ted Williams struck out every once in a while.
Really?
Not very often.
Did you ever see that book? And you see the chart that Ted Williams, I mean, it was like his cold spot was like about 270. Somebody's going to prove me wrong, but the point was he covered all zones. 9 quadrants in like a batting stance or the strike zone.
And all the good hitters do. Can't stay one way with him.
Phillips is 0 for 2. Garcia's had a lot of first pitch strikes. Pitching ahead in the count today. He has struck out 8. And when you're around the zone like Jaime has been, you get those calls that he got on Joey Votto. 17 of 22 first pitch strikes. Outfield is straight away for Phillips. Hits a high fly ball into left center. Jay is on the move. Near the track, looks up, and it's gone. It's a home run. Brandon Phillips. And here come the boos.
Game inside the game, and you think there was just a little wave to the fans as he was booed heavily being announced, and his 2nd home run of the year, his 6th RBI, and here we are 5 2/3 and right off the end of the bat, but just got enough of the sweet spot to drive it out.
We talked about the ball being down. That was down. It just was in the middle of the plate, middle in.
Bruce on the first pitch hits it out of play.
It shows why the Reds can be such a dangerous team. They can strike quickly. They have power up and down their lineup. Get a guy like Frazier and Bruce, Phillips, Votto. I mean, they can all hit the home run, including, as Al mentioned earlier, their leadoff hitter Chu has 3 so far this season.
You touched on it too. They play in a very explosive ballpark. A balloon out there behind David Freese, making his way to the infield.
0-2 pitch. Career high for strikeouts for Jaime in his career has been 10. That was set last year against Pittsburgh, and now they'll take care of that balloon. But Pete Kozma's done a little bit of everything. One ball and 2 strikes on Jay Bruce, who does strike out a lot, but can also hit for tremendous power. Outfield is deep, straight away. Descalso has to charge. It'll be Kozma, and Bruce beats it out. They did not have the shift on, but Daniel was playing about 5 yards deep on the outfield grass, and Bruce has himself an infield hit.
Didn't hit it hard enough for Kozma to get to it, or Descalso to come in on it, see where their defense is.
No chance for Descalso playing the shallow right field, as you mentioned, and Kozma the only chance, but not much of one, as you see Bruce flying by the base.
I wonder if Kozma's relatively young. If they moved Descalso and forgot to move Kozma.
So 2 down, runner at first, and Frazier hits it sharply to Kozma, positioned perfectly that time in a force play at second. Reds pick up a home run from Brandon Phillips, his second of the season. It's 3-2. The Gold and Platinum Glove Award. Rawlings presents that. Also, fans will take that home. The giveaway that day, that's this Sunday, April 14th. So we wrap up the homestand. Cardinals with the first of 3 against the Reds, then Milwaukee, first of 3 beginning on Friday. After that, 3-city road trip. Pittsburgh, Philly, Washington. Here's Beltran, Holiday, Craig. 3-2 St. Louis in this opener at Busch Stadium. Carlos is fly to center and also lined out to right. Brandon Phillips with career home run number 150 to cut the lead to 3-2 as Beltran pops it up a mile high on the infield. Frazier called off by the shortstop Cozart for the first out. In steps Holiday. Matt has walked and scored. That was back in the first on the drop by Shin-Soo Choo in center. And he also flied out to deep left.
Mato's doing a good job of keeping the Reds in this ball game. They actually should have a 2-1 lead.
We think of the Cardinals 2 years ago in the early power, it came from Lance Berkman. You think last year, you think Carlos Beltran, who ended up with 32, and kind of wonder this year where's the guy who's going to be the centerpiece of the offense and the guy who kind of gets everything going, and could it be Matt Holliday?
Cardinals had 5 players in their lineup, 20 or more home runs a year ago. Speaking of Berkman, he would always talk about the shadows here at Busch Stadium, and those are now becoming a factor. Remember, it was a couple years ago, Lance was really vocal about the day games that would start like today around 3 o'clock. Well, we haven't had the bright sunshine till right about now. So Latos in the sun, then pitching in the shade, and then the hitters standing almost in the sun as well.
They have their share of hard throwers, and we do too in our bullpen. So it's going to be tough on the hitters. You're talking about where the power source is going to be when it's all this season's all said and done. Holliday's going to be up there.
Reaches for it, and a base hit into right field.
You look at that entire at bat of Holliday, he ends up fighting that pitch off and getting a base hit, but you could tell he was uncomfortable in terms of seeing the baseball. Really, that entire at bat, a little bit late, a little bit defensive, just like this swing kind of serves it the other way, but he gets the job done.
You're just not supposed to hit that pitch like that, and then Holliday gets rewarded. Latos saying, I made a great pitch and I don't get anything for it.
In steps Craig, double into left center field. Let's see if they shift again a little bit more towards center, but that's not the case. You pointed it out, Rick. It was Latos that really missed location in the last at bat. They set up outside, so clearly trying to pitch him away. Missed in, and Craig drove it into left center.
And as Al mentioned, they're playing him the other way. Now, the dilemma for a pitcher is you can't throw every pitch away. You can't just throw every single pitch outside. You have to eventually throw some pitches in. But the point is, where do you want to try to get him out? It appears to be away, and that's where Hannigan's set up again.
Well, we also know even when you try to do it, it's physically impossible to throw every pitch exactly where you want it.
I'll say.
Sometimes when non-pitchers, make these defensive lineups, and of course they're all based on charts over years, or as much information they can put down there, it'll show a tendency that this is where they hit it.
1-2. Alan Craig has joined the team this year with David Freese and Matt Holliday to support kids at Cardinal Glennon. Homers for Health, and you can make a pledge for all the Cardinals home runs hit this year at Glennon.org.
Seen some of those commercials, and they're pretty cute.
Yeah, they've done a really good job with those. And they had the ceremonial first pitch baseball run today. There's a fly ball into right. Shading from the sun is Jay Bruce using his glove. He also has the glasses down and on, and he makes the catch for out number 2.
Now that at bat went perfect according to their defensive alignment.
Favorite moment, fans have voted on Twitter. Presented by AT&T, and 2011 Division Series Game 5 shutout. That will always be a lasting memory of that 2011 season and his reaction. The duel between he and Roy Halladay.
It was my vote and Al's vote.
Yep, nice going, fans.
2 outs, runner at first.
Good luck with the people that thought Ricky's way, and my condolences to the people that thought my way.
I was with you, Al. No,
I know we were together, but I don't think we're going to lump everyone into
no.
two left-handers in the thought process.
So you mean what you're saying is they may not like the fact that you and I agree with it. Might bother them a bit. Carpenter, a lot of good moments from him, any way you look at it.
Yeah, Matt's a good young player.
Lost in that game was the at bat early on by Skip Schumacher in the battle against Halladay. He would reach. That would prove to be a difference in that game, and the pitching of Chris Carpenter against his former teammate Roy Halladay as Yachty drives it into center. Chu is back, and this time, he didn't catch it again. Halladay being waved in. the plate is not in time. Holiday scores. What is going on out there? Twice Yachty has hit it to center, and Chu can't hold on. It's led to 3 runs and the difference in this game.
Talking with Cincinnati personnel, they just raved about Chu and what a great player he is, and all around, offensively and everything else. But right there, a second time, this time it looked like it hit him in the heel with the glove and pops out. And Yachty, once again, won't get a base hit out of it, but it's for the team factor. Close play. Phillips made a good throw there and a close play at the plate.
And a good slide from Matt Holliday going to the outside part of the plate. Again, earlier this game, had Chris Heisey done that, the Reds may have an extra run, but shaking his head in center is Shin-Soo Choo. Can't believe he's made 2 errors on not routine plays, but plays that a Major League center fielder should make. It'll be interesting to hear what Jim Edmonds has to say about the Reds outfield defense on our postgame show.
So here is David Freese. Twice he has hit the ball hard. Nothing to show for it. He's lined out and grounded out. 1-0 pitch. Give Holliday some credit because that ball was stung, and not to say that this should be the case, but a lot of major leaguers aren't running hard in that particular spot. They take that for granted. I mean, 99 out of 100 times those guys put that away, and he was at first and scored. Here's a 1-1 pitch. Right on it.
I thought when he backpedaled there, he kind of took his eye off the ball to pick up where the runners were, and just assumed that he was going to catch it.
Notice his glasses were down, so that wasn't the issue.
No.
Didn't really get a sense that he lost it in the sun anywhere. Basically just dropped it. I mean, he didn't make the first play. The same reason, had a shot at it and just didn't stick in his glove.
And look at this. Well, it doesn't matter. It's a strikeout of David Freese, but Molina had third base stolen. StubHub is a great place to find the seats you want to Cardinal games throughout the season. Now they've added StubHub fan rewards, so you can earn a little extra with your tickets, like seat upgrades. So head to StubHub and get your Cardinals tickets today. Shin-Soo Choo, 2 errors that has led to 3 runs. And Garcia on the other end, closing in on his career high in strikeouts, which is 10. He has 8. Only 80 pitches thrown thus far. It's Cozart, Hannigan, And we may see a pinch hitter as a right-hander is throwing for the Reds in their pen. Randy Choate begins to throw for St. Louis. It's Mujica. I think the Cardinals would like to keep him in that familiar role that he had last year in the 7th. Rosenthal slides in the 8th. Maybe some save situations. And then Boggs is your closer. That's tapped foul.
Kind of evolved in spring training is the year that Mujica had a year ago. Do you just kind of slot everybody down an inning? Choate the lefty, Mujica the righty. But really, Mujica was just outstanding in that 7th inning a year ago, and Rosenthal is a guy that we all think could be a closer at some point. I mean, he can do it right now if you gave him that job, but for him to get that experience as an 8th inning guy makes a lot of sense.
Like exactly where it is.
Swung on and missed. Garcia starts the inning off with a strikeout. That's number 9. Going back to Shin Soo Choo, here's a guy that while in Cleveland had played corner outfield position, and a question mark was going into this year transition into being an everyday center fielder. Now they did trade away Drew Stubbs, and for the minuses of his game, which was low on base percentage and the strikeouts, defensively quick and could cover a lot of ground, and pretty good defensive player.
Well, he made 2 errors last year, and he's made 2 in the last hour and a half.
Yeah. Two balls, no strikes. 8th place hitter Ryan Hannigan. Reds have 2 switch hitters available. 2 lefties on their bench, and then Devin Mesoraco, who is their backup catcher. Derek from the right side.
Derek Robinson is at the on deck circle. Simon warming up.
Love that camera angle. Cardinal bullpen. Get a little bit of an idea just how quick that ball gets to the catcher from that angle. Not much time.
And you're not warming up at full speed, too.
Almost hear the pop of the glove at the same time he releases the ball, don't you?
Now, what kind of conversations are going on with the fans down there? Because that's going to happen over the course of 80-plus games.
Where do we begin on that?
Third walk issued by Garcia, 1-out walk. And in this 4-2 game, Dusty Baker will go to his bench and pinch hit for Latos.
There's a bit of a rule out there in the bullpen. When your guy is getting hot for a game situation, everybody just relaxes along with you. You just focus. You don't kind of fool around. There's no talking to fans at that point in time. There are other times where, let's just say, it's a loose place to be.
So here is Derek Robinson, an outfielder. Looks at ball 1. He singled off of Steven Strasburg for his first career hit.
Looks like he can run, doesn't he?
He was promoted to replace Ryan Ludwig. They've got a guy in the minor leagues that can flat out run too.
Thinking about him.
Mr. Hamilton, 155 steals, I believe, last year in the minor leagues.
Shattered Vince Coleman's record, minor league record.
Robinson led his league 4 times in a row in stolen bases, stole 23 a year ago in Omaha.
Line on Latos, 98 pitches, 6 innings. Gives up 4 runs, but 2 costly errors behind him. 1-1 pitch. 1-2. Talked about Hamilton. Little more seasoning in the minor leagues, in particular with defense. They've had him switch positions, but they feel that he could be a guy that could get you 100 steals at this level. One out, runner at first, the 1-2. Got him. Strikeout number 10 for Jaime Garcia. So he has matched the career high of 10 strikeouts. 2 down here in the 7th. In the top of the lineup, Shin Soo-Choo. And the fans give him a nice round of applause.
Been the Cardinals' best player. I think over the course of the year or throughout his career, we're going to see him being
base hit to left for Chu.
We're going to see that he's going to be a thorn in the Cardinals' side.
So his first base hit, he's 1 for 4, and it brings in Heisey. .94 pitches on the day for Garcia. This is where you really start to think, if you're Mike Matheny, do I want to go to that matchup of bringing in Mojica, who's been so good, or do I let my starter finish this inning because he's been so good?
Tough choice for Matheny right now.
It really is.
And you do have the lefty Randy Choate getting loose. He's getting ready for Votto or potentially Bruce. I would assume Votto.
Well, Dusty has his lineup left, right, left, right, left. So you've got to either go with a Mojica and let him face a lefty, or use Choate against the guy that you just think is the most dangerous.
And Choate's kind of the new toy.
It's sharply past David Freese and down into the corner. 1 run is in. They'll hold up the runner at third. And I'm assuming the only reason you do that is because Mr. Votto is coming up. I think if they sent him, he scores.
I think you're right also, but Joey Votto coming up, it's hard not to keep from running into a potential out. Ball got by David Freese, and I just kind of looked in slow motion right there. Maybe that's a little indication of lack of playing time recently with the bad back on David Freese.
Hear the ovation for Jaime. And may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. Chevy called to the pen, and this is exactly why you sign Randy Choate. It's for guys like Votto, Bruce, some of the others that he will see a whole bunch of the next 3 years.
Key situation in this game, very important matchup with Votto, and Choate has done the job since the season started, but boy, he had a rough spring training, but perhaps got it figured out. Tough test here with Votto.
Ricky's talked about trying to run the two-seamer in on the hands of a lefty and trying to get quick outs.
Well, he's going to be tough on left-handers because of the angle that he delivers his pitches from, and very, very difficult to pick up. Shadow's still an issue. At this point, we're kind of glad about that.
Two balls and no strikes. By the way, Votto is 0 for 3 in his career against Choate.
Choate also had issues throwing strikes in spring training.
Randy's been lucky, particularly that last time in San Francisco. Came in to a line drive that Alan Craig caught on the shoe tops, turned it into a double play. And throwing strikes has been an issue. It almost looks like, you know, he's 37 years of age. It looks like he wants to get his body into his motion, but it just won't bend. So he gets there and he slings it more than he normally does. But he was very tough on left-handers, 158 average against.
Swinging away on 3-0. Choate will get out of the jam. Time to stretch the home opener here in St. Louis. Good ball game. It's 4-3. It's 4-3 in favor of St. Louis. And this is our Barnes Jewish Hospital difference maker, swinging away on 3-0. And Randy Choate, one of the biggest outs in the game so far. So now Votto in his career hitless against the lefty. Bench coach Mike Eldretti on the right, going over some of the situations right now with Mike Matheny. And I'm sure for Mike, you think about Rosenthal in the 8th, or do you go with the guy that's been throwing, who's loose right now, and that is Mexico?
Or they decide to go with their 8th inning man. Rosenthal's warming up. This is Alfredo Simon, our Chevy call to the bullpen.
And there's Rosenthal, and we were having that exact conversation, Dan, Al, and I, as you really are getting two right-handers up, and you're only going to use one, but that's to try to stay in line with who pitches the 7th and who pitches the 8th. So there's two schools of thought on that. If Mujica's hot already, why don't you let him pitch the 8th? But Rosenthal and his 100 miles an hour is never a bad choice.
0-1 pitch to Descalso. Both starters now knocked out of the game. Garcia 6 2/3, 6 hits, matches his career high in strikeouts with 10. Did allow a home run to Brandon Phillips. 96 pitches on the day. Lato's 6 innings. Gives up the 4 runs, but a couple of catches made in center, and this is a different game as you get a look at Rosenthal. Don't blink, you'll miss it.
That was a breaking ball there.
Still, don't blink. It's
been a couple days since we've seen him. That may be a factor also.
Ground ball to the right side, slowly hit. Votto flips to Simon, and Descalso is hitless. Rosenthal, when he decides to get up and get loose, he actually starts behind the mound, and he'll be off the mound going towards what would be second base, and he says that's his way to just kind of get revved up, and lets it fly after about 3 or 4 tosses, and then heads out onto the mound, and here we go.
Everybody learns kind of their own routine. Some guys like to throw off the backside of the mound just so they force themselves. They're actually throwing uphill, but it forces them to finish. And other guys just like to throw long. Other guys like to start shorter. But really, it's just a personal preference deal, and the goal is to just make sure you save your bullets enough so when you get on the field, you're 100% ready to go and not worn out. But you don't want to be not ready either. So you have to use all your pitches and try to get them sharp, and then trust that you're going to have it once you get on the field.
Chu is really fighting it right now. He broke back on that ball good 2 or 3, maybe even 4 steps, and then came in to make that catch off the bat of Cosma. And a sarcastic cheer from the folks in the bleachers here at Busch Stadium.
Matt Carpenter, they pull back Adams, and now Matt Carpenter will pinch hit with no one on base.
It's one of the things, guys, you have to look at with the Cardinals this year is that when Carpenter is in the starting lineup, he arguably is your best pinch hitter from a year ago. Now, statistically, you look at Robinson, and he could go and say, well, look at my numbers. They're pretty darn good, too. But Carpenter gives them such a good at-bat off the bench. The Cardinals will miss that when he's in that starting lineup.
I think he likes the starting lineup better.
I would say so.
I think what happened, too, with a lot of times, we talked about Robinson showing a little more power and the ability to drive the ball in spring training, but with Chambers and Robinson, and whether it was Jackson or whoever you had out there, at best it was going to be a single. And one of the things, the difference maker with Matt Carpenter is they got to him 2 years ago, and John Mabry and Mark McGuire told him, hey, you're a big guy, you need to drive the ball.
Fly ball to center. The catch is made. We have played 7. The hard-throwing right-hander, Trevor Rosenthal, and our Chevy call to the pen when we come back. Lewis, as we move to the top of the 8th. Welcome back. This is Cardinals baseball on Fox Sports Midwest. Let's go to our studio and a Bommarito Sports Update. Pat, thank you. Trevor Rosenthal. We know how vicious he can be on hitters. 100-mile-an-hour fastball. He's had a couple of days in which he has not thrown, so I'm sure he is revved up for the home opener. And the last time that the Cardinal fans saw him was in postseason play as Carpenter takes over at third, stays in the game. Rosenthal was fantastic last year in the playoffs. That pitch at 98 to Brandon Phillips, who has a home run. It was home run number 150 of his career.
Some of these Cincinnati players now get to see what it feels like when Chapman's pitching. Turnarounds, fair play.
Cardinals have great power arms coming out of the pen. And I've heard both of you say that you've never seen in the system arms like this.
There was a time when there was a real lack of power arms in the Cardinals system. You'd get guys that come up from the minor leagues, and they would be, they'd be pitchers, but they wouldn't have that. Wouldn't have that kind of velocity. And, you get a guy with that kind of velocity and teach him to pitch, and now you've got something special at the big league level.
It's the number of power arms. I remember, saw a quote by someone in the front office saying, well, we want to start drafting hard throwers. I go, oh, you want to start? I think part of the problem was they had the success and they never had the opportunity to get some of the hard throwers. They would, if they were available in the draft, they would have drafted them. But they definitely have some keepers now.
1 ball and 2 strikes on Brandon Phillips. Well, this was something that John Mozeliak talked about. He said, I'm looking for power arms, but if those arms are even at positions, and this was kind of an edict from John and his staff, let's take a flyer in some of these rounds on taking a chance on guys like Trevor Rosenthal. There's a breaking ball, and Phillips stayed away, and it's 3-2.
He almost fell down wanting to swing and then realized it's a breaking ball.
Rosenthal was a catcher as well as a shortstop when the Cardinals drafted him. He had hardly even pitched in junior college. Here we go. The 3-2 pitch. Ground ball to short. Kozma. One away. You think about that, Rick, when you not only look for power arms. I mean, any organization is looking for that, but they went out with the idea of let's try to find guys that are athletic.
Right.
And if we need to convert these guys to pitchers, so be it.
And when you become a pitcher and you throw hard, you're still not all the way there. I mean, you've got to learn how to do something with it, and some guys never do. And there are guys that throw hard that never do. And the first thing is you have to throw strikes. You have to have command. It's one thing to have a fastball, but it's not really a fastball unless you're throwing it for a strike 70% of the time.
Jay Bruce, a 3-hit day, and the tying run is on. It's opening day 2013, the home opener here in St. Louis. And baseball is brought to you by Budweiser, the official beer of Major League Baseball. Great times awaiting. Grab some buds. And by your quality Ford dealers. Jim Hayes, Jim Edmonds, Pat Paris, Rick Horton, Al Rabowski, Dan McLaughlin with you here in the booth, day in which began honoring the great Stan Musial. Ooh, and hit by the pitch at 98 miles an hour is the third baseman, Todd Frazier.
You can see him grimace right away. He's smiling now, but he wasn't smiling at first. There's some tender areas right around the elbow, and we'll see where this ball hits him. Like maybe on the tricep, Al?
Yeah, I think it above the elbow and where it is muscle, and so he recovered quickly. If that got him on the point of the elbow, he'd lose all feeling, and he wouldn't be smiling right now.
Key spot in this game was last inning. Our friend Tim Trokey, who helps the pregame shows and the postgame shows, came up with this stat. Joey Votto put one ball in play on a 3-0 count last year. He had been 6 for 9 all time at 3-0 counts until the ground out against Randy Choate.
Key moment in this game, and a lot of fans would say, why would he be swinging? But it's the high ability for Joey Votto to know the zone, and he's as good as he is. He's going to be selective. Choate just came up with a good pitch in that situation, and from the Cardinals' point of view, we're all very thankful with the result.
This will be Xavier Paul, left-handed batter. Second pinch hitter used by Dusty Baker. Runners at first and second. Paul is the pinch hitter for Cozart. Takes a ball low and away.
Xavier Paul been sitting in that bench for a long time. Now you got to come in and face a guy that's throwing extremely hard. Today is a little different than in my year because you do have the ability to go down behind the dugout and go into the batting cages. Both teams have that opportunity.
1-1. Two balls, one strike. This could be a very big pitch in this ball game right here. 2-1 on the pinch hitter, Xavier Paul. Cardinals leading by a run, 4-3. Here it comes. Evens it up at 2-2.
Speed pitch, little breaking ball there. This Reds ball club has a history of they stop swinging when they turn the lights out. They're not going to go quietly.
Crowd coming alive a bit. The 2-2 pitch. How tough of a job is this to come off the bench? And Rosenthal has been hitting consistently here, 97, 98. That last pitch at 99.
Teams really make an effort now to get enough swings underneath the stadium through the tunnels where they'll have batting cages, and they'll gear up and try to get as ready as they can for this kind of situation. And that's part of what the assistant hitting coach will do, is they'll spend a lot of time, in the Cardinals case, Benji Molina, underneath in the tunnel with guys, keeping them ready for situations just like this.
Exactly. And Cincinnati this year went to a secondary batting coach.
It's another 2-2 pitch. Pulled foul. Milwaukee has defeated Chicago 7-4. That's now a final. Brewers have won 14, their last 18 against the Cubs. Earlier today in the American League, it was Boston over Baltimore 3-1. Tense moment in this game in the home opener for Dusty and Mike Matheny. It's another 2-2 pitch. Base hit into right. Waving in the runner home, and we are now tied.
Can't tell exactly what Rosenthal did in his delivery, but that curveball was telegraphed. There was something very early in the delivery. I think he slowed down a bit, and
that's what he did.
You get the sense the curveball was coming, and it was just up in the zone. And there's the result.
And it was a hanger. A lot of people wanted to make Rosenthal the closer after Boggs blew that first save, and you know, he'll get his chances, but right now he's where he needs to be. And one of the things, whether he either refines or gets those breaking balls better, or he finally will just sit there and say, okay, I throw this hard, I'm not going to give in to hitters and give them something that is other than my best pitch. If he gets beat with a fastball, we don't say anything.
And look, we all know from the inside of the clubhouse and from inside the brain of Trevor Rosenthal, the last thing he should be thinking about is miles per hour. We do it because it's just so kind of amazing what he's able to do, and of course it generates a lot of discussion and interest that he has that kind of talent, but that can't be what he's thinking about. You're thinking about how hard you're throwing, you're not pitching.
Ooh, and Yachty falls back.
Look how far outside. He's completely out of behind the box and right down the middle.
I think he's stunned. I think Yachty's stunned for a second with that.
Got that left shoulder. It got underneath the pad, I believe, and he felt that one.
Let's see where it hits Yachty.
Watch the shoulder. Oh no, in the helmet.
Hit him in the face
top
mask.
of that face mask.
I think he was stunned for a second. He kind of fell back.
Yep. Mike knows about that.
You bet. He's not going to take any chances. He's going to make sure Yachty's okay.
He doesn't know what town he's in, but he's okay. Look at that. Jack Clark ran over Mike Scioscia. Vicious.
In L.A.
And Lasorda ran out there and said, you know, they're in L.A. He said, what town are you in, Mike? And goes, Houston. Lasorda said, you're okay.
It's almost the identical pitch.
And this is what we're talking about command. It's not just the miles per hour, it's where you're throwing it. Yachty on purpose, and a lot of times catchers will do that if the guy's having trouble throwing the pitch across his body to the other side of the plate. They will exaggerate by setting way up outside just to get you out there. But Rosenthal having a hard time
once again
way
outside.
And he still can't get it out there.
Throw down to third. They almost picked him off. It's a strikeout for Rosenthal. Big out in this game with a runner at third and only one out. Frazier gets up laughing again.
Here's
Yachty.
Yachty.
Wants it out again.
Away, away, away. That's where Yachty wants it. Creeping out, but has to reach back in. Good position to throw. Yachty not afraid to do that.
His Turris. His Turris, pinch hitter.
Switch hitting shortstop. Dusty is left with a lefty off his bench as well as the backup catcher right now.
Just watching the way Dusty using these left-handed pinch hitters, feels that's the best option against Rosenthal too.
Slap the other way. 0-2. 101 on the gun.
You know, big power hitters who have free swing and can't catch up to it, but it's the little guys that just kind of slap at the ball and make contact. They're the ones that kill you.
Runners at the corners and an 0-2 pitch put in play. Slowly hit to the right side. Gloved by Dander Descalso. A nice play. Almost ran into Izturis. It's tied up. Top of the order coming up. AT&T Uverse Rewind. Shin Soo Choo in center, dropping that fly ball. That led to 2-run scoring in the first. In the 6th inning, same hitter, Yadier Molina. He dropped another ball. That led to a run. Those errors key in this game. We are tied up 4-4, the home opener this 2013 season for St. Louis.
Going to have a lot of battles between these two clubs all season long. They play each other a ton because of the new schedule design, and Sam LeCure is the new right-handed reliever for Cincinnati. We saw him quite a bit a year ago. Kind of a slow worker, if I remember. And he's going to try to slow down things for the Cardinals offense, facing Jay Beltran and Holiday in the 8th.
John Jay with a single and a run scored as Boggs, the Cardinals closer right now, is getting loose. Jay's also hit one to deep right that was caught and struck out back in the 5th. Outfield is deep for John. And the first pitch is taken for a ball.
As Turris stays in the game, he's playing shortstop. McClure was born in Jefferson City.
And the third pitcher used by Dusty Baker in this ball game. 4-4 as we play here in the home half of the 8th. Popped foul out of play. 1 ball and 2 strikes. McCure was selected by the Reds in the 4th round of June of 2005. A season ago, he had career highs in appearances and wins. Last 13 appearances down the stretch for the Reds. ERA that was under 2. Year before was his first full major league season. Jay's in the hole. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Big gap in right center. And Jay, a swing and a miss as he strikes out.
Curveball gets him swinging. Ball off the plate. The Reds would be in pretty good shape for the long run, as the Cardinals will be going with their closer in the 9th inning, where Dusty Baker's got his 3 big horses. 3 main relievers at the end of the game are all available on his bench.
Carlos Beltran takes ball 1. Fly to center. Lined out to right and also popped out to short. Carlos with 5 RBIs on the year, still looking for that first home run. See if he can't get a pitch to drive here on 2 balls and no strikes. Do some damage. 3-0.
You know, you can get to any bullpen, and they're not invincible. But you'd have to say this would not be the recipe the Cardinals would want to go after all season long as they played a Red, to get into bullpen battles in the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning for the reasons you mentioned earlier. They're strong from top to bottom, the Reds are. Not that the Cardinals aren't good, but you're just not going to have very many runs late.
3-0, swinging away. Phillips, a diving stop to take the hit away. It's a Gold Glover down there at second base. Just like Votto was swinging on 3-0. He had runners on. So was Beltran here. And one swing, you know, with Carlos could give the Cardinals a lead. Boy, is Phillips a good player or what?
Yes, he is. And more times than not, you're not going to get the home run. You're going to roll over and hit a little ground ball. And Left-hand hitter is going to pull it like that and hit it to the second baseman. Right-handed batter hit it to the short. What you're saying is if you're going to score, this is probably the inning you best score against the pure.
Holiday with a base hit. He's walked and scored and also flied out to deep left. 2 outs, nobody on.
And a really good outing today by Jaime Garcia. He obviously will not pick up the victory today, but 6 2/3, gave up 3 runs, but the 10 strikeouts really looked sharp for the most part. Reds were able to scratch across 3 runs, but I like the outing from the Cardinal left-hander.
That's what you accentuate, the real positive, and that is one for Jaime.
Oh, and 2 on Matt Holliday.
Been contemplating this team, looking forward, guys, this year. I just think that what Garcia does, what Shelby Miller does, and what Lance Lynn does is critically important in that Cardinal rotation. That's 3/5 of your rotation. I think Westbrook and Wainwright, you know what you're going to get from those guys. But the other 3, there's a variance of possibilities, and you just want to see them all do well.
Outside, 1 and 2. So he matched his career high in strikeouts with those 10 today. You see a guy like Rosenthal that is throwing triple digits, and then Garcia topping out at 92, but ball just dances with him. On 1 and 2.
Latos deserved better fate. Neither starter. Both of them pitch well enough to win. Both of them will get a no decision.
Out of play again. Rosenthal has had 2 hold opportunities this season. Boggs has set the club record a year ago, and both times for Rosenthal, he's given up that lead.
I mean, the blown saves.
Boggs is ready to pitch the 9th.
Let's give him a lead.
When he comes out there, he'll deal with the top of the lineup for Cincinnati. It's another 1-2 pitch. Holiday out to deep right field, but that'll stay in the ballpark. And the catch is made near the track. We head to the 9th. The home opener tied up at 4.
Coming up after the game on the post-game edition of Missouri Lottery Cardinals Live, Pat Paris, Jim Edmonds standing by. They'll break down Jaime's Day. We'll have a full recap of the opening day festivities, plus player reaction straight from the Cardinal clubhouse, plus Mike Matheny's post-game news conference as well. Mitchell Boggs on to do the pitching for the Cardinals. We send it back to the booth, and Dan Ricken out, guys.
Okay, Jim, thanks. Good job today. Our Chevy call to the pen. The Cardinals closer is in, as Boggs now inserted into the lineup for Holiday's spot. And Shane Robinson takes over in left. We've seen at times when late in games, Cardinals, if they go in extra innings, we've seen that double switch, and sometimes it can come back to bite you if turn that lineup over and all of a sudden that spot for Matt Holliday comes up.
Well, you try to save your bullpen by doing that, but the other option could have been to replace either Beltran or Jay. Holliday with the off day yesterday, and Holliday with as good a chance as anybody of hitting a home run and winning the game late. So he's a guy that you really hesitate to take out of games, although, you know, that's kind of an issue that Mike Matheny has to deal with. If the last guy makes the out is Alan Craig, do you take him out? Do you take out Yadier Molina? Double switches are kind of tough when your lineup is pretty solid throughout the middle.
Shin Soo Choo. And you know he would love to atone for his 2 errors today. That's led to 3 runs. First center fielder with 2 errors against the Cardinals since 1994. And the man that committed those 2 errors against St. Louis in '94, Lenny Dykstra. 3-0. The last thing Mitchell wants to do is have himself a leadoff walk. Chu is 1 for 4. Heisey on deck is 2 for 4. And Votto is hitless.
He's not swinging 3-0.
Nowhere close. 4 pitches, leadoff walk.
Asking for trouble. Late in games, extra innings, start walking people, leadoff walks. They'll kill you.
See if Heisey can get a bunt down. That's the way they want to go. Chu stole 21 a year ago. It's bunted foul.
If he would have not bunted that ball, he would have been another hit batter.
I was thinking the same thing, Al. The ball from Mitchell Boggs on the righties just explodes back in. Watch this.
Thinks it's a strike, and that ball would have hit him. That might have hit him in the chest if he'd have let it go. Just kept coming in on him, in on him. A little self-defense.
Remember Boggs in his blown save in Arizona, he hit a second batter after a base hit. A hit batter by Rosenthal really complicated things for him too. Carpenter at third base, and near the line, playing in on the grass, opens up holes.
0-1 pitch, swinging, popped up.
Thank you.
On the road and not sacrificing. There's that all-important first out. Jaime Garcia is outing today against the Reds, 6 2/3 as he matches his career high in strikeouts with 10. I love that picture there.
I was just going to
see
say
where that arm angle is.
And that's what the hitter has to face. Your idea is to pick up the ball, but you've got to look on the other side of his head. And you're not used to doing that because he wraps it behind him. And that's part of the reason he's so successful, is he's just kind of really difficult to pick up.
If his arm holds off. You know, that's throwing a ball above your head or above your waist even is abnormal. But to throw it
from behind
like that, you don't often see that look.
Joey Votto, always dangerous. He's at the plate, hitless today. Struck out in the first, walked and scored in the fourth, called out on strikes, and is also grounded out. 0 for 3.
Always a tremendous clutch hitter.
Chew a pretty big lead at first, not running, and it's to the backstop. Wild pitch.
You know, Al, you've been talking a lot about Mitchell Boggs, and of course the Cardinals have been helping him with staying more closed. But you know, can it be that you're so far closed that you're having trouble throwing the ball to the other side of the plate, and you kind of lose sight of that, lose that feel?
I think that's a very good point. What we're talking about is, see how he kind of side saddle, but when he'll take that left leg and move it closer to the plate, it almost, I'm going to walk him, but it almost looks like he's throwing to the on deck hitter. And yeah, it helps you get inside, but can you get it away? And we've seen him hit people, or that wild pitch where the ball just gets away from him inside of the right-handed batter.
Runners at first and second, and look who it is. Brandon Phillips, homered back in the 6th. Moments ago made a diving stop at second base.
Has not hit Mitchell Boggs well at all, just 2 for 15 with a couple of strikeouts. But I would be very uncomfortable in the batter's box right now if I was Brandon Phillips. With Boggs throwing as hard as he's throwing and missing to that third base side of the plate, and he's not comfortable.
Because of it, he's thinking that breaking ball, he bailed before it started to break, so that's why. But he's also, looks like he's a little bit off the plate more, anticipating I'm going to get a pitch on the inner part and I'm going to put good wood on it. He's telling you, if you can get outside, you can get me out.
0-1 pitch.
Better delivery there.
95, and of course we've seen Boggs at 98.
To the count. Runners at first and second. Phillips, little bloop, and that is fair. It just stayed fair. 1 run is in. And on an 0-2 pitch, he sticks out the bat, and it's a 5-4 Cincinnati lead.
Good hitters find ways to get hits, even when it's not a pitch that they can handle, one that they can't handle. They do something with it. Just barely stays fair.
First base open. Intentional pass of Bruce, so 2 intentional walks in the inning, 3 total. And Frazier on deck. Also had a wild pitch in this inning, and the pop out of Heisey for the lone out.
Roxton is warming up.
Let's go back to the pitch to Brandon Phillips here.
So too, and slider not bad, but it's elevated, and when it's elevated like that, it just reaches out and just got enough of it to steer it fair. Didn't get it quite far enough or down, or
wasn't quite sharp enough either.
Just kind of slid across, not dive.
He's clearly struggling, Mitch, and he needs to come up with a pitch right here, and we've certainly seen him a lot better, and we'll see him a lot better down the road, but he's just battling right now to try to get that right release point, and nice ground ball here to the shortstop will make him feel a lot better. Look at the Cardinals in the middle infield. Cosma and Descalzo.
Before someone panics, Jason Lott will be examined tomorrow. He's not even throwing, so it's not going to be something that's going to be real quick, but he has at least said there's no more pain in his elbow.
0-2 pitch. Bases are loaded. 1 ball and 2 strikes. 2-2. Full count. Crowd a bit restless. This sold-out crowd on opening day here at Busch Stadium. Bases loaded. Pitch number 23 of the inning upcoming from Mitchell Boggs. Time is called.
There's no action yet in the Cardinals bullpen, although there's some stirring right now, but you get to a certain pitch count and you're a little bit beyond what you want your closer to throw on any given day.
And he walked him.
Ricky, I think you really hit on something. You know, with the fact Ryan Braun said, you know, hey, this is really good. Boy, I can't see you release point. You're really closed out there, but you can't throw strikes either.
Right.
And it's gotten him out of his comfort zone of throwing strikes. He's closed up too much.
So the bases are loaded. 4 walks in the inning. Crowd of 47,345. Some of them start to head to the exits.
Sepchinski starts to get loose in a hurry again. Mitch is going to have plenty of good days ahead, and this has not clearly been one of them. But there's a pitch count number, and we're there, I would say, for a closer to say, okay, that's enough, because you're going to want to use him again within the next couple of days, and you get up to 30 pitches or more, and then you've got a problem.
Jack Hanahan this season 2 for 4, and the bases remain loaded.
From Cleveland, noted as a defensive player, very good infielder.
Ground ball slowly hit right side. Kozma going to the plate, and it's another run that comes across as Pete was either going to race to the bag to get the force play at third or try to go home and get that lead man. They can't get anybody. It's a base hit and an RBI, and now a 7-4 Cincinnati lead.
I think when Pete sees this, he just felt like he wasn't going to be able, hard to tell from that angle, but he wasn't going to be able to beat Bruce to the bag. So his only play.
They could have tagged him out.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
So the bases remain loaded. Pitch count at 24, and here's that pitch count that we talk about. That's taken low, and I saw Boggs screaming into his glove in frustration. We know Mitchell wants the opportunity to be a closer, maybe even start again. Not that he's disrespecting his role of being an 8th inning guy.
Right.
Not to say that at all, but he wants this responsibility. So you know this is driving him crazy. Yeah, the little bloop hit by Phillips down the right field line. That base hit on the infield, and nothing going his way today.
Part of the problem of being the 8th and 9th inning guy, and not the problem, but I guess I would say the challenge of being that guy, is you can't have very many bad days. You have to be good 90% of the time or more, and this not a good time for Mitchell Boggs for sure, but the real proof of the pudding will be what does he do the next 10 times.
Well, the problem is also that you had a highly comfortable and confident 8th inning man. You would love to have the opportunity with an injury, you know, to Mott provides an opportunity for somebody to close. Made perfect sense to give him here, but sometimes you get out of whack trying to win that job too much.
Bases remain loaded. 2-2 the count with 1 out. Pitch count is at 28 for Boggs. Little chopper, tough play here, and off the glove of Cosma. Another run will come in to score, and that makes it 8-4. Things have unraveled for the Cardinals here in the top of the ninth. It's an E6 on that play, but they will award the RBI. And that'll be it for Mitchell Boggs.
A tough error right there. He come in as do or die. The glove just comes up and it goes off the webbing.
As we head to break, it's our Nissan drive of the game. With 2 strikes on Brandon Phillips. Sticks the bat out, drops it in just fair. Reds on top. And Mark Zepchinski will come in. Lefties for the Cardinals. That has been a bright spot here in this first week. They've been fairly well.
Zeps looked really good, and he had some up and down time in spring training, and really the big downtime for him is when he actually got hurt playing golf of all things. He got a particle of some sort, whether it was the ball or a wood chip or something, came up and hit him in the eye, and really kind of messed up the timing of his spring training. Al, I would say some of his work, and at one point concerned about his eyesight, but he's fine, and the last couple of times we've seen him throw, he's been very, very sharp.
Yes, and the luck of a reliever that you only have to get ready for 1 inning, so it's not like you needed all 6 weeks.
A fly ball that's hit out of play. Just think a little bit about tomorrow. You used Rosenthal and Boggs. Mitchell extensively here in this game, and you'd wonder if there was a save situation that presents itself to Mike Matheny, what direction he goes in. It was a hold situation for Rosenthal. Reds tied it up, and then they got to Mitchell Boggs, and in fairness to Boggs, a lot of those baseballs weren't hit very hard.
But control issues, I think, is really where he got himself into trouble, and I'd have to say he'd be shut down for tomorrow, and you'd have to get the 9th inning from a different spot.
Base hit into right. Run will score. Bases remain loaded. So 9-4 Reds. Cesar Izturis.
See Alan Craig playing in here, and that cuts down his range. Ball was hit hard and to his right, and tried to make a good effort at it, but came up empty. That was probably the hardest hit ball of the inning.
And the Cardinals stay with that defense. The classic response is to have your corner infielders in to take that run away and just hope for a double play up the middle. Still just 1 out in this inning. There's Carpenter and Craig in.
Liner down the left field line, fair. Into the corner it goes. And this may clear the bases. The relay to the plate is not in time, and it's all Reds. They have busted open this ball game here in the 9th inning.
Chu did this last time, went the other way, had a base hit, actually walked his last at bat, but the time before singled to left. And now he does a little bit more damage than just a single to left, as Chu, who is responsible for the Cardinal runs on one side, now adds to his own club's tally.
7 earned runs for Boggs in a third of an inning. That will kill your ERA for the rest of the year.
For the year, exactly right.
4 walks, 2 intentional, and that's really where you get concerned, as you were talking about that control. Number 2. Reds have put up 8 runs here in this 9th inning. They lead it 12-4 on opening day, and after the excitement of taking 2 of 3 over the weekend and beating up on Matt Cain, and you're thinking about the home opener and that carrying over to today.
Well, that 9-run Cardinal inning against Matt Cain has almost been matched here in the 9th inning of this game.
That's
and
right.
You just really feel for Mitchell Boggs, and clearly he wasn't right, but you add, as Al said, the 4 intentional, or the walks to that, and a couple intentional walks, and just a really, really rough afternoon.
Well, the leadoff walk, that just spells trouble. Talk about defensive placement, talking about percentages. Leadoff walks is, they're asking for trouble.
Talk about the walks this inning. Cardinals, by the way, only 4 hits in this game. Two balls, 1 strike on Votto with 2 outs and a runner at third. Reds would love to get this guy going. Hitting just .208, no homers, 1 RBI. Big bat in the middle of their lineup. That'll get him going. That's a base hit out to left. Make it a 9 spot. 9 runs in the 9th inning for Cincinnati.
And an RBI, and now in every spot in the Reds lineup from top to bottom. Everybody's contributed, and a lot of that contribution has taken place here in the 9th inning.
I know Zepchinski's coming here trying to clean things up, but he's given up 3 hits and 4 batters.
Brandon Phillips earlier this inning with really a key hit in the game, obviously, with that base hit down the right field line. Barely stayed fair.
This game is painful, but it's forgettable.
It is forgettable. I understand and agree with what you're saying, but the guy you're concerned with having a harder time forgetting it and getting past it is Mitchell Boggs, your closer. Your closer has this kind of day and nothing goes right, and he's a guy that you're really counting on and is a big part of your team. Yeah. The guy can say, hey, I was just 1 for 4, we lost, let's move on, but you're looking at an ERA over 16 all of a sudden. You're just going to have a hard time turning a page.
Sure, but if he's going to get back, then you got to be able to forget it move forward. But every time he looks at his ERA, it's going to be a bad memory.
Cardinals hang 9 on San Francisco, 1 inning in Sunday's game. Well, turnaround fair play. 9 on them here in the night. There's a walk to Phillips.
Painful is a good word, Al.
The slider misses down and low. For ball 1 to Jay Bruce.
Getting close to that 20 mark, just trying to get out of the inning.
Pitch number 47 of the inning. That's low. 2 balls and no strikes.
18th for Zipchinski.
You mentioned Yadier Molina hasn't had any time off. This is the kind of day that can really wear on a catcher. Not the day, but the inning.
A 2-0 pitch. Back to Zipchinski, off his glove, and Bruce will beat it out. His second infield hit of the afternoon. Nothing going right here in this 9th inning for St. Louis. Wow. Base hit for Bruce, and yet again the bases are loaded.
Cardinals only have 1 error in this game, but there's been a lot of other plays that they should have made, and plays that were big plays in this inning that weren't made.
You know, the one ball that was deflected, Carpenter deflected, and then Bruce was running by, and Cosma had it, said he could have tagged him. Back then, you know, it was we were down by 2. His thinking might have been, hey, it's going to be tough enough to come back from 2 if I can get him at the plate. You know,
sure.
Then part of that reasoning, but it's really snowballed because you didn't get anybody.
Now the Cardinals have to get a pitcher up in the bullpen. That's Salas, I believe. 1 ball, 1 strike on Frazier with the bases loaded.
You really don't even want to use Salas. You want more arms for tomorrow.
He would be another option, you would think, to be able to pitch in the 8th and 9th inning.
Sure.
Mika as well.
He had 24 saves in 2011. Fernando Salas.
Lance Lynn will get that start tomorrow against Arroyo. Come your way at 6:30. There's a strikeout of Frazier. Nine runs here at the top of the 9th. Cincinnati sliding toward the win. with the Cincinnati Reds. The Cardinals home opener. Now they lead it by the score of 13-4. A big afternoon for none other than Brandon Phillips.
Yeah, his home run in the 6th inning came against Jaime Garcia, and he was part of all the damage that happened in that 9th inning. And we also saw him defensively. That's why he's a Gold Glover. And here it is in the 9th inning. This little bloop to right, really one of the backbreakers for the Cardinals in that inning. A 9-run inning on just 6 hits for the Reds, and just very, very frustrating here on opening day. Phillips, an outstanding player, but I tell you, that makes me think just how good Jaime Garcia must have been today.
Yeah, thinking the same thing with his 10 strikeouts. Here's J.J. Hoover. Alan Craig, the hitter, and he looks at strike one. Underway here in the bottom of the 9th.
Hoover was acquired from the Braves in exchange for Juan Francisco.
Matchup tomorrow, Lynn and Arroyo. Then on Wednesday, Westbrook and Homer Bailey. It'll be a day game on Wednesday. There's a strike at the knees, 1-2. Craig has struck out, picked up a double back in the 4th, and a run scored, and also flied out to right. Tony Cruz, the on deck circle, and we'll see Shane Robinson. An afternoon that began with so much promise has come to a screeching halt here in this 9th inning.
Mike Matheny knew that they were going to get 9 runs there total. He might have made a battery switch. Brought in Zipchinski. He might have brought in Tony Cruz too. Just to spare Yachty a little bit of time.
2-2 pitch.
Wonder when that first off day is going to come for Yachty.
Probably Wednesday, maybe tomorrow, but thinking Wednesday with the off day Thursday. Did 2 for 1.
A strikeout of Craig as he was frozen. Last year, J.J. Hoover did appear in 28 games for the Reds. He was 1-0 with a very respectable ERA of 2.05. Seen him hit mid-90s on the gun, and tight little slider there.
And at Louisville, before that, he pitched 30 games. He was 4-0 with an ERA of 1.22. 13 saves. He had 14 on the year. 1 save at the big league level.
Tony Cruz. There's that fastball at 94. Get the feeling, guys, that it will be St. Louis and Cincinnati back and forth.
You bet.
All season long.
Find a good sign today, as we've mentioned, it's Jaime Garcia. I think if you look at the overall bad sign, not just what the bullpen did there late, but just some kind of defensive lapses and just not real sharp defensively. Let's put it that way. And again, just 1 Cardinal error, but that's going to be an area that you just have to do well at. You have to catch the ball. You have to make the plays, and clearly it's the difference between winning and losing, whether or not you play well defensively.
Dusty Baker has spoken very highly of Hoover and saying, look, this is a guy that not only did it for us last year, but had a very good spring. He's coming in a role in which they're leading 13-4, but they anticipate as time goes on, the role that he takes on will increase as well. Pitch at 95. Talk about a fastball that is sneaky fast. They mentioned J.J. Hoover. And there's a strikeout. Second in the inning. 2 up and 2 down.
And you're sneaky fast and you're still throwing the mid-90s. And that ball gets on you like it's 99.
It's exactly what Dusty was saying, Al, that you go back to Hoover a season ago, average fastball around 92, 93, but as he said, sneaky fast. You're looking like you're throwing Aroldis Chapman fastballs out there. They like this guy.
See why.
See why, but if you're a Cardinal fan, you don't like the uniform or anybody wearing it right now. But you're right. This is going to be a long season. These two clubs are going to be doing a lot of battling.
One ball, one strike on Shane Robinson. Part of the double switch that took Holiday out of the game. One and two on Shane.
Rick kind of questioned that strategy. If this Holiday's spot come back in the order,
doesn't matter.
Even Matt couldn't hit a 10-run home run. Maybe Shane gets something started. You never know. Our turn to put a 9th spot up. Then we could go to extra innings.
Well, Al, in all fairness, we had a 9th spot yesterday. Those don't come around very often.
Can you take it back whenever you want? Well, it came around a little too often today.
Yeah. Here's a 2-2 to Shane Robinson.
Somebody's going to look at this score 13-4 and
call it a blowout.
Yeah, and not have any comprehension of what kind of a pitcher's duel or good ball game we had early in the game, midway through.
And the 3-2 to Shane Robinson is popped up to the left side. Frazier out of room.
Oh, that 9th inning just clearly got away, and once it gets away, it snowballs. You mentioned Cosma trying to do that extra because he knew that if it went to 3 runs, it would be tough, so he tried to make a good play, and understandably. Then you intentionally walk guys because you care about the situation, and then the next thing you know, you've walked too many, and a hit hurts you, and it just keeps getting worse. Then you can't catch the ball, and there's no fun to be a part of that kind of inning.
There's their start. And like you said, you know, what even hurts more, if a guy hits one out of the ballpark, right, or he hit it off the wall, you know, it's one thing. But when they hit balls that hit on the foul line or flare it here and quail it there, those hurt.
Here's Descalso making the opening day start at second base for this home opener. Daniel ground ball to first and backing up, and from the seat of his pants they make the play. How about that? Joey Votto made that a lot harder than maybe it needed to be, huh?
Well, in a strange 9th inning, what a way for it to end, with Joey Votto falling down and throwing from his backside, and all kinds of smiles for Cincinnati, including Brandon Phillips, their Gold Glove second baseman, and a tough one for St. Louis, especially in the 9th.
Now, the opening day was great. The festivities, it's in the record books right now. Forget about this one and come back and play tomorrow and even up the series.
Last out of the game, well, Votto from his backside, and then the pick by Hoover. Nice play all around to end it. Cincinnati takes game 1 13-4. Post-game show coming up.